Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Game Informer Show podcast. I'm your host, Ben Hansen, joined by Andrew Reiner.
Hello.
And Joe Juba.
That's me.
Welcome, guys. We have a big show. We're talking about God of War. Woo! That really snuck up on everybody. This game is coming out the 20th, but we can talk about it now. Joe, you've been playing a hell of a lot of it.
I've been playing
You're
a
on,
lot.
what, playthrough 5?
One playthrough, but digging into post-game content and stuff.
Post-game content. Okay, a lot of stuff to talk about there. After that, we're going to get Dan Tack in here to talk about his visit to Blizzard, the big HQ itself, where he saw some Overwatch stuff, played some WoW stuff. I think he'll have a lot to talk about. I'm in the dark. I don't know what he's going to talk about, but I assume it's going to be interesting. And then we have some great community emails. Then back half of the show, Back at the Box Trivia returns. It's been way too long. So I think Joe's going to compete. Reiner was scared S-less.
Yeah, I think the last time I played this, I got 0 correct. So
Yeah,
we'll get a better competitor.
It definitely makes you feel self-conscious when you do it, because it's like, okay, I'm a professional, theoretically. This is what I do. And yet it's like when you miss some of the obvious ones that are totally in your wheelhouse.
He has a companion named Clank, and I'm just like,
Jack. So big show. Thank you to everybody that wrote in nice things about Spider-Man. Thank you to new listeners that tuned in for the Spider-Man episode last week. That was big. That was huge. I hope you guys stick around. This is a podcast where we talk about games, damn it. And only games. Occasional movie questions in the email section, but that's it. Hey, God of War. Joe Juba.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we did that cover story not too long ago. Reiner, you've also been playing a lot of this.
yeah, I'm right at the end. Seriously, what, an hour, Joe?
I don't know. You're close.
Okay.
You're close.
Okay, so whatever you do, Joe, don't tell Reiner the ending while recording this podcast. Please
Okay.
refrain.
I know, even though everyone else listening wants to hear it and have it spoiled for them, for Reiner's sake, I won't.
Yeah, I haven't heard you say anything about this game, so I'm going to sit back. How is the new God of War?
Oh, man. That's a big question. Ultimately, I really, really like this game.
There's the word ultimately, which is interesting.
What's interesting about this is, and maybe Reiner has a different experience with it, but like me getting to I want to clarify, I love this game right now.
Yeah, it's like mind-blowing.
Ooh, okay.
Mind-blowing.
And like typical God of War games, it starts very strong. Like the opening sequence for, I'm not going to get into the details here, but like there's stuff at the beginning. They know how to start this game big. And but not necessarily big in the like Colossus of Rhodes way, but in a way
hinted at that.
But in a way that gets you into this world, into these characters, and this journey. There's in a good way.
Yeah, there's a moment right at the beginning, like in the first hour there, you're like, how are they going to top that?
Yeah.
That was like so elaborate and crazy and just beautiful, but they do it.
Wow. But for me, there's a little bit of a journey in terms of getting to the place where I love it as much as I do, because after that opening bit, I wasn't totally sold on their new approach to combat. I think is what it boils down to.
Because you enjoyed it. Would you played on the cover story trip there?
I did, but that's like a half an hour. We played for like a half an hour, 45 minutes, and that gives you a taste of the mechanics, and that. Like at the time, it sort of whetted my appetite where it's like, oh man, I can think of a lot of like interesting places they could go with this. I'm really excited to see how it evolves. And it does evolve, but not until you're maybe like halfway through the game or so.
And how long is the game?
Man, again, that's another tricky question because there's so much like exploration that you can fly off and do, but, or rather boat off and do. But I mean, I think it probably took me about 30 hours or so.
And you were being pretty thorough.
Yeah.
Okay.
30 hours to see credits, but in the time since then, I've spent at least another 5 hours like going off and doing other things.
I think I'm at like 15, something like that, 16. I'm better at the game than Joe. That's one thing.
That's what it boils down to.
I'm still a little bit confused about the amount of exploration because even on the cover story trip, it seemed just not quite lip service, but a little bit like, yeah, you can explore. We don't really want to give examples of what you'll be doing, but is that a bigger part of the game than people might expect at this point?
Maybe.
Okay.
So ultimately, and what I think Reiner did for the first part of the game was like, you can just focus on critical path stuff. Just go like story mission to story mission to story mission.
They set you up nicely for that, to follow the breadcrumb trail.
Yeah. But if you want to take a break, I mean, like there are times when Atreus says to you like, hey, we could go do that. Or, I mean, we could go do some other stuff if you want.
Your list of side quests is filling up, Dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and it's not necessarily a list of side quests as much as it is like an area an area that you can sort of go and like check out different things. And when you go and check these things out, again, they're not necessarily formal, like this is your task, do this, as much as it is like, oh, this is a place I haven't been, and you're going to go around there and fight some stuff and get some rewards for it, and oh, good, I got another one of these things. Now I have 2 of the 9 of those that I need, or something like that.
Yeah,
Are you being vague of purpose here?
Yeah.
Okay.
But you'll be in a level and you'll be like, oh, what's that mirror? Looks like I can maybe do something with that. And then, your son says something about it. You're like, oh, okay, that must be important. Then later in the game, you figure out like, oh, you can interact with these mirrors. And it's like, oh, I saw a bunch of those along the way. I should go back.
And you can fast travel back there and check that stuff out?
Yeah. I mean, there's fast travel in the game, but it's more in that Metroid vein of like, where was that one in the forest area, or in the cave? Where was that?
Yeah, and the game also does a good job eventually of like sending you back to those places anyway. So it's not like you don't feel like you just need to go back to the beginning and retread your whole path again to get everything that you missed. Like the game sends you back down those paths for other reasons, and you get stuff. But yeah.
Yeah. So on the cover story trip during the rapid fire interview, and who knows if the director was just having some fun, but at some point he said this game would be 10 out of 10 surprising for fans. Reiner, does it strike you as surprising? Is there stuff you, without spoiling anything and story beats, but like just systems overall, the gameplay is like, oh, it's much more this than I thought.
Yeah, without spoiling it, there are a lot of big surprises in this game, like significant, like, wow, I did not expect that to happen.
Anything you can talk about as far as like systems?
I can't even hint at some of these things because
gameplay surprises, story surprises. These are all things.
Gameplay surprises.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't even define one of the surprises because it'll make people start thinking.
We have to talk about something on this podcast.
Well, no. Sorry. I mean, the one thing I'll say is like Joe said, it takes a while to pick up, and I completely disagree. I loved combat from the outset, and like I thought it evolved like. You're getting runes and certain things to different abilities that give you different attacks along the way. I felt that like that ramped up at a nice pace. And one thing that never gets old, like it feels good every time, is throwing your axe and then retrieving it. And you could throw an axe at a distant enemy, and then as you retrieve it, it hits like another enemy in the back of the head.
It's good.
I laughed every time that happened. It made you feel like such a badass and so competent at combat.
Yeah, that catching animation looks so solid too.
And you could just boom, bing, boom, bing, boom, bing.
So here's where I want to play devil's advocate again. And to be clear, this is just for this chunk, this first sort of chunk of the game.
And just to be clear, you love the game.
Yeah, well, no. Well, as a counterpoint to what Reiner's saying, and I guess to expand on what bothered me about it before, is that like I think it leans too heavily in the early hours on the axe throwing, because like you think of God of War and you think of this sort of like brutal melee sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And their combat system that they have set up, and that like close behind the back camera, works great when you're dealing with like there are a couple instances where it feels like almost like a duel, right? Where it's like you and a tough enemy and you're going against it, and like it's great in those circumstances. But when they throw multiple enemies at you, that situation, like it feels like they do not give you the tools that you need to really negotiate this, like the melee crowd combat.
That sounds like camera issues.
No. I disagree with Joe on this.
It's not camera issues, because what ends up happening is that like they do give you indicators, right? It's like, oh, there's an arrow pointing this way that tells you an enemy is there, and a red arrow this way tells you an enemy is about to attack you from that direction. But like, because the camera is so close, you don't have all the information. I didn't have the information that I wanted about that. Like, okay, so there's an attack coming in from like my back left. Like, which way should I roll? Or like, what kind of attack is it? Is it a projectile? Is it a slash? That like,
does it matter if it says, hey, roll any way you want?
Well, not really, except that it also gets a little frustrating when there are like you're trying to focus on like one enemy in front of you.
Yeah.
And you sort of have a game plan for how you want to approach that. But then there's like 2 white arrows saying there's an enemy here and an enemy here, and 2 red arrows saying there's something there. So then the solution is just like, I'm gonna roll back. And so then I think what for me it got to at that point was like, because it's so hard to negotiate those sort of like close quarters things, it feels like the game encourages you to keep your distance and huck your axe more than I wanted to.
Reiner's violently shaking his head.
No, I mean, I used all sorts of different attacks at any given times to command the hordes. And one really cool thing is like your abilities that you get are game changers, right? Like I ended up getting this ability where I'd spin my axe out and it'd be rotating in the air, picking away at an enemy. And at that point, I come running in with my fists, and your fists
That's dangerous.
are just as lethal as that axe. You have like a whole skill tree for your fists.
Oh, really?
So you can, that's like another weapon where it's just Kratos's hands against the enemies. So you have your axe attacks. You have different ones where you can do like shockwaves that take down a whole horde at once. Your boy also gains powers that I won't reveal what they are, but he can handle more enemies at once or kind of help you pick away at them. But there are times, to Joe's point, of like, you'll see that red indicator, you don't know what that attack is.
Yeah.
You don't even know like range enemies came into play. Like you're so focused on like a giant in front of you or an ogre, you didn't know that these other guys came into play. And that's something that happens a lot in a lot of games, right?
Yeah. So overall, it feels enough like God of War in the combat where it's not gonna turn fans off.
And here's I want to get beyond this phase of it here too, because the stuff that Reiner's talking about is when the game turns around for me. Because like they do introduce these what they call runic attacks, which are the like the axe throwing move that Reiner's talking about and stuff. These are the sort of like your special moves that are on cooldown that you can use. And once they start giving you more of those, and you can experiment with them and like how they work together and things like that, that's when for me combat like starts picking up. But again, I feel like for me anyway, as I was playing, there was maybe after that intro sequence, maybe 3 or 4 hours or so of playing where I feel like they didn't give me enough of the tools that I wanted to like really change stuff up.
Here's an interesting thing though, because I remember a point when Joe came in and I saw where he was at in the game, and he had played more time than me.
But Reiner was further in the story.
I was like more powered up than he was, but I was further along. So maybe sticking to the critical path is more of a pure like power leveling kind of playthrough than actually going off the beaten path early on.
That seems weird.
Maybe that's advice for people to maybe do the side stuff a little later. Maybe I don't know.
I wish that I had spent a little less time on that earlier on, just because now knowing where things get to, and now this is what I want to talk about. Like what makes the game great in the combat front is that once you start getting a lot of those runic attacks, that's when it's not just abilities that are like, oh, now you throw your axe, here you have like an area of effect burst or something. A lot of like really interesting and fun abilities are put onto those, like they're just very different. So they really encourage, like I had a lot of fun trying out different attacks, seeing how they work in different scenarios. Like, and you level up the attacks with your experience also, so they get more powerful the more like you put into them. So experimenting with those, I would say that those are the kinds of attacks that players would be more accustomed to having on Kratos, like, sort of his, they weren't on cooldown before, but the sort of his big hits, like, I don't know, like a big area of effect sort of burst or something like that.
Okay.
Were usually things that in the old games would be like combo finishers and things. And these are they're just things that you like equip and use on cooldown.
That sounds all right.
So yeah. So it's really cool. And the further the game goes on, the more you realize how useful Atreus is, and being able to use those arrows to like stun and damage enemies, and to like as crowd control to like keep some enemies at bay while you focus on other ones. That all works really well.
And one other thing too, like you were dodge rolling a lot. One other thing I really got used to was the counter system is awesome.
Yeah.
So I would stand my ground. Like there's a big guy coming at me. I'm like, okay, what's he going to do? And if you see it flash red, it's like, get the hell out of the way. If it flashes yellow, it's like counter. So like you do feel like a badass in those instances where it's just like, I'm going to wait and see. Like I'm Kratos, right? Like I'm going to see, I have rage built up. Like there's 5 guys coming at me. I'm going to focus on this big guy. And if that collapses, I'm going to activate rage and just go ballistic on all of them.
And so does the scale get to the points of previous God of Wars throughout the course of the game as well? Just like the scale of the actual fights?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, in different ways, like because they really don't deviate from that like close-up camera for the most part. Yeah. So you don't get that same the moments that it's missing. And I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but like when people think of scale and they think of God of War, they think of those moments where the camera zooms way out and you see tiny Kratos doing doing something on something huge.
Yeah.
I mean, those moments aren't delivered in that same way, but there are still those moments of like, holy crap, that thing is huge. How am I going to take this down? The sense of like, scaling these things and finding a weakness somehow.
Yeah.
The entire game is one camera shot.
Right.
You can pause the game
on the cover story trip. I think it came up once or twice, right, Jeff?
Yeah, you could pause the game and that obviously you're not in the camera shot anymore.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's pausing a game or going into your skills. Like that's it.
Yeah.
But in terms of like every second Kratos is on screen, that camera is there with him. It can rotate around him and move, but it never cuts to another shot.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild.
It'll focus on other characters too, but it's still the same. It's still the
swaying
same
around.
One continuous shot, yeah.
Which, I mean, and ultimately, Ben, to your point, I think, because they talked about this a lot when we were on the cover story.
And it seemed like a neat thing that's technically impressive, but I'm curious the impact it'll have on the average
And
player.
I'm just bringing it up because I think that's a decision they probably made. Like, do we want to have Kratos be 80,000 feet tall? And they're like, well, let's just focus on like our camera shot thing.
For sure.
Yeah, and I think that where it ends up being the strongest, like the single camera shot during the gameplay, because of things like going to your menu and like talking to the shop and buying things at the shop, there's still that same sense of interruption that you always get in a game. So like that continuity doesn't shine through for me. Didn't shine through as strong during the normal gameplay stuff, but it really does come through in the more cinematic moments.
Okay.
Like it feels cool and different in like at those times, and in various like cool combat scenarios also. But like, was it necessarily worth the effort for when you're just walking around and exploring and stuff?
Yeah.
I don't know that I felt a huge benefit up from it there, but in other places, the more like cinematic moments, I did.
Okay, the number one question I've had ever since we did that cover story, and ever since we had Corey on the podcast a while ago, what percentage of the game do you spend in the boat? Please tell me. Lock it down once and for all. How big is this boat?
Again, it depends a lot.
Oh.
It depends a lot on the exploration that you do, because like you're going to use the boat to get to the places that you want to explore. So if you want to do a lot of that, you're going to spend more time on the boat.
Well, boat is magical, by the way. It just automatically appears wherever you need it.
I think those are different boats.
But
Reiner, for the last time, cars aren't magic. Those are different cars.
But I mean, it is a boat, right? Like so, you don't have to go fetch it. Right, like it'll be where you need it.
Will players be annoyed? But like another boat sequence. Here we go.
I don't think so.
Okay, it's not that
I
bad.
wasn't.
But there's a lot of it.
Like you, I know
it's not like driving to a mission in GTA. It's pretty quick.
All right.
Yeah,
when you're in the boat.
I know that you want some punchy line from me. Like
I want a number.
It's 15%.
Yes.
And like I can't give you that, because it varies so much depending on how much extra stuff you want to do. I would say in like the core critical path stuff, the boat is used mainly just to get from like point A to point B, and I don't think that there's that much of it.
You get some story build up in those moments.
Sure.
And, there's a couple times where it's like, oh, this is just kind of scenic. But it doesn't last more than a minute.
And I imagine the environment's cool enough that,
Well, and
and sometimes it's kind of got a Disney sitting in a boat kind of vibe of just looking at different things going on.
Hall of Presidents?
Yeah, stuff like that.
And they also do a good job of the parts that they make you. Like the times that you are in a boat and you need to go like spend some time in it to get from one place to another. It's not just silence. It's like Kratos and Atreus having a conversation, or like telling stories, or that kind of thing. Like they fill the space, so it doesn't just feel like filler as you're just holding up on the D-pad or up on the joystick and like going.
Yeah, for sure. So. Story overall, without any spoilers whatsoever. How do you feel about where it starts, where it ends, the entire journey here?
I really liked the journey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kratos is awesome in this. Like, he was pretty one-dimensional in the past, and we loved him because he was just this angry god.
Or you hated him because he was just an angry god.
Yeah. I mean, there was interesting things about like his look, those reveals in the first game. This game has some big reveals along the way too, but I mean, he's a different character now. Like his history has taken a toll on him.
Yeah. I think he's so much more interesting now. Like part of it, it's interesting how much they are able to convey without zeroing in or like going too in the weeds in terms of what happened before.
Yeah.
So it's like they don't give you some like in-depth summary of like what happened in the previous games or anything, but they still convey this fact that like Kratos is a man with a past that he regrets, and where he established himself as this like iconic character who's all about just like shouting at the heavens and like screaming, despite all of the noise that he made before, like he says so much more in just his terse responses and his silence in this game. Like he conveys so much more about who he is now than he ever did screaming about it before.
And zooming out from just the character, I feel like the overall story goes some interesting places, satisfying overall.
Yeah, for sure.
And again, Reiner gives me an ooh yeah.
Like I haven't seen the end yet, but like I texted Joe the other night just one thing that I saw, and I was like, well, and we were like, oh, like this is crazy.
All right, take of that what you will, listeners. Oh, wow.
And so here's one thing. Again, like it's really hard to talk about this without spoiling stuff. But like after finishing it, I think that they found an excellent way to dive back into this series in a way that like feels fresh and avoids stagnation and like opens up future possibilities for them. Right. In terms of filling in gaps of things that happened before or pursuing things that might happen in the future. They put a lot of interesting threads out there that like I am excited to see them follow versus say at the end of God of War 3 when it's like, well, that was done.
You'll never see another thing from us
again. We killed everyone.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it's like God of War Ascension where it's again like they're diving into like that game dove into Kratos' past a little more, but in a way like games had already done that already. So it felt like they were really mining content that wasn't that interesting. And they have a lot of content that they can go into in the future now. Like it just feels like revitalized.
So the end of the game is just him opening up a map. Or it's like flipping through some holy text, like, let's see what we got here. Okay, Reiner, I know this would probably be tougher for you to do not having finished the game. And Joe, I know you hate being put on the spot, but I'm going to pick on you.
Okay.
Let's rank them. Let's rank Santa Monica's God of Wars. How are you feeling?
Jeez, man. I think I gave the first... Did I give all 3 10s? I don't remember.
What? Really? You think so?
I love those games. They're some of my favorites.
I gave them 10, 9, 7, 5, and 10.
Okay.
And then like I don't remember exactly.
Well, forget the scores, but now kind of looking back and overall feeling, right? Like where would you stack this one?
Man. So it's hard because sorry, I know I give all these like hedgy answers.
Joe, get out of that fucking edge, man.
But because there's so much time and place, right? Like in my mind when I played the original God of War on PS2, that was just like so different for the time, and it was just like it had this sort of like brutal, visceral action to it that like games had. It felt like the game that action games had been trying to be for years and had never quite hit, right?
Yeah.
But now we've moved so far beyond that it's like looking at God of War 1 now, there are some things about it that are like, I don't know if that ages so well. Right?
So the ranking is...
I'll put it this way. Like, you had Res Evil 1, 2, and 3 that were very good, and then 4 changed the script in a really interesting way.
Yeah.
I think this game does that exact same thing.
I think that's
okay. And that's why 4 is the best Resident Evil. It's very easy to rank.
I mean, yeah, like, I can't speak to it yet because I haven't finished it, and I don't know what's left yet in my adventure, how much I'm going to go back and play it. But yeah, it is, I would say it's as interesting as like Res Evil 4 changing the formula and doing something big.
On the level of Res Evil 4?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Good God.
Yeah, dude, I love this game.
I think amazing.
I think this game is great.
That's a little further than I would go with it, but I still think, I mean, like, forgetting scores that have been given in the past and just like my current attitude towards it, I mean, I think this is my favorite one.
I think I gave Res Evil 4 a 10 too. So I just give all games 10s.
Yeah, apparently that's what we learned. That's amazing. And if you are interested in spoilers for this game, which I don't know why you would be, unless you're playing along with us, which is why we have a GI Game Club coming up. First episode will be airing not next week, but the week after that. I believe it's April 26th, if my memory is correct. Right, Joe?
Yeah, the game comes out on April 20th, though.
Right.
You're giving 6 days to play?
Otherwise, I feel like it's too late. I feel like the hardcore fans can do it, right? Okay. 6 days might be a stretch.
Okay.
Is it possible?
I think people are going to play the hell out of it.
I mean,
I think they will.
It's totally possible.
Okay, good.
I mean, you're excluding some of the more casual, like, or people who have lives who can't play
podcast archive will always be there for fans.
That's okay.
One last comment.
Oh, can I
People
just
asked a lot about it though.
real quick though? Yes, I hear you. With the game club though,
Yeah.
where should people stop, Joe?
I think the place to stop is so there's a lot
Oh,
of
God.
there's a lot of other stuff happening around this, but in order to avoid spoilers, I would say when you meet the character named Mimir,
Who they've already talked about a little bit.
yeah, so that's not a spoiler. They're like they've talked this. There's a character named Mimir in the game.
When you see him, just jump for the power button on your PS4.
Well, I mean, wait until whatever's happening.
Get your save point.
Wait until
Okay,
whatever's
okay.
happening happens, and then after that sequence, we'll
Okay,
we'll pick it up.
And if you're not familiar with Game Club, we play along with you. We have a roundtable here. We're going to dive in deeper than we've ever dove in on any game ever, talking about very specific things throughout this game. And we want you to write into podcast@gameformer.com with your thoughts on God of War up till meeting Mimir, which this better be quite the entrance from this character. But Joe assures me that is the best dividing line for a 2-part Game Club. But sorry, Reiner, what were you going to say?
I'm going to ask Joe a question, actually.
Yeah.
What did you think of the boy?
Oh, I thought it was really interesting. Again, this is a question Jeff Cork asked me yesterday too, and it's like
It's the one question I get the most.
yeah, and
People are worried
I guess
he's annoying.
to assuage people's fears, he does not get annoying, like both from a story perspective and in my mind, like he doesn't get in your way gameplay wise. He feels much more like an asset on the battlefield than like something that you need to protect.
There's
Okay.
one point in the game where he's really annoying. And it's only for 10 seconds where something happens in his life
Uh-huh.
and you need him to do something, and then he stops in his tracks, and you got to talk to him, and then he'll move again, and then he stops,
Look, that's
and then you
just-
got to talk to him again.
that's being a parent.
and then he does
Reiner.
it again. I know it's being a parent, but it's the only point in the game where I was like, wow, this is really heavy-handed. Like they overdid it this
Yeah.
one instance. Otherwise, he's fascinating.
Oh,
I think he's really cool.
I actually like the moment that Reiner's talking about, if it's the one I think it is, because like
You two boys all over the place.
yeah,
Opinions.
Okay, so he doesn't
Yeah.
suck. That's good to hear.
right, and
Yeah.
I do want to clarify also when I was down on the game at the very beginning part. The reason I wanted to put that out there is because I think that there are people who go into this game with certain expectations for God of War, and I think in those first few hours, where for me anyway, the combat wasn't totally clicking, I think it would be easy to latch onto the idea that this isn't God of War. And I guess I bring it up to warn you about it and to assure you that it gets there.
It gets to be God of War
Yeah,
again.
in a fantastic way.
Holy cow. All right, I can't wait to dive in deep. We're going to be talking about this game a lot on GA Game Club coming up. But Joe Juba, thank you so much.
Yeah.
But I kind of would like to talk to Dan Tack. If you can summon him for us, I'd appreciate
Am
it.
I out?
Oh,
No, you're here, baby.
Oh.
Joe's out.
all right. Summoning Dan Tack.
Okay.
Holy hell.
Hey, Dan Tack, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
In the flesh. Last week, you went to Blizzard's headquarters.
That's right.
How many times have you been there now?
Oh, I don't know. I can't count it all.
I need a number,
I
Dan.
don't know. 2 to 3.
Okay, 2 to 3. That's
How do you not remember 2?
Let's just say 2.
All right, let's go with 2. So what were you doing there?
We were checking out some new Overwatch stuff and WoW stuff.
Overwatch 2.
Oh, I can't believe they announced Overwatch 2. That's
you know,
very
yeah,
exciting.
they just decided to reveal that one early. No.
All right,
no
let-
Overwatch 2.
Let's start with Overwatch. I think people might be
That
interested
sounds
in
good.
this. Okay, what's new for Overwatch?
So that's out this week. You're probably playing it right now.
good God.
It's the new Mission Archives event.
Mission Archives.
So this is 4-player co-op. It is a PvE event. Lasts for
What's
20
it called?
days. It's called Retribution.
Hmm.
This is a new event where you play as the Black Watch. So not the bad guys, but the guys who they're the current bad guys.
Like the Widowmaker people?
Yeah. So
Okay.
back in the day, they were the guys who got the dirty jobs done that the good guys didn't want to do. Right.
Micro. Yep.
Right. So I mean, today they're the bad guys.
Okay.
In the storyline. So you play as them through one of the old missions, through one of the past missions. So you get a really, a chunk of the lore about how they used to get things done back in the day. Sort of a Reaper origin story almost. Not quite, but
Is it
it's-
like the most story-focused content they've done in game so far?
It's pretty story focused, but it was hard to tell just a few plays because apparently the more you play it with the story characters, the more unlocks
Oh, that's cool.
in terms of like giving you little gems.
What would you learn from the overall trip? Did you?
So the experience itself,
Yeah.
which people are already playing, I like it a lot better than Uprising. It's sort of a it's not 1-to-1 here, but it's sort of like Overwatch Left 4 Dead.
What?
So you're going through. There's a thing that's very similar to like the Left 4 Dead Hunter. pounces on people, disables them, and keeps attacking them until you get them off.
Okay.
Climbs on walls. It's the assassin, and that was one of the cooler ones. And there's also snipers. These are special units that they made for this map to sort
They
of
should turn them into heroes.
I mean, the sniper already is, that's already Widowmaker, right? But the assassin, yes.
Assassin.
I agree. That would be cool, except
Blades.
something tells me that their philosophy, having a person just on you and you're not able to do anything, like a full disable like that while being damaged, could be pretty uncomfortable to play against. But hey, who knows? It's a really cool looking character, the assassin is. And then you've got the heavies, which are like the tanks. They really do some damage. You get a couple of those bad boys on the screen, you're going down. So,
yeah.
Okay.
But actually being at the studio talking with the devs, did you get any insight about how they see this in terms of the path forward for Overwatch? Is this something they want to do more of? Is there any inkling of what they have?
They're actually really quiet on that. They're like, they just want to do it as they do it.
This is one experiment. Don't read too much into this, ladies and gentlemen.
Pretty much.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you learn anything about the development of Overwatch visiting the studio there?
Well, they were specifically only talking about the Retribution event.
Yeah.
And the map that comes with a map is coming online.
Okay.
So the map, you only get to play this thing for 20 days, 10th to 30th. But the map, the Venice map, Rialto, is going to be out for everybody sometime after that. As a playable PvP map.
Okay.
So that's cool. So there's more stuff there. And there's lots of neat little things inside Retribution that don't exist in the regular game, like drop ships and skiffs and breaking glass and other stuff like that.
Glass.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a first.
It is. And it's a really cool, fun thing. And like people are like always like, why can't we just do that year round? I think it would get boring over time though, right?
Yeah.
But they always put a timer on it, and especially when they up the ante, like you're going to get more story tidbits as you go.
Yeah.
When it's limited to a month, that's kind of...
Their story again, they're just tidbits though. I don't think they're never committing to doing it. I think, they didn't say this, but I think they're still committed to telling the story outside a game. As much as this is a cool in-game thing that takes a taste of that, it's still gameplay oriented, gameplay focused. At the same time, getting to see some of these cool characters blast from the past out of the park.
What was the coolest part of visiting Blizzard then? Just taking pictures of statues? Hey,
Absolutely.
here's Tracer over there.
Yeah, the Blizzard tour is always fantastic.
Talk to Jeff Kaplan?
No, he was there for the presentation, but I don't think anybody got one-to-ones with him. At least we didn't.
Was it like one of those things, when he's like the mayor and he's like walking out of the room and everyone's screaming, Kaplan, over here. Talk about Overwatch too.
No, yeah, really. That was
no further questions. Jeff has a very busy schedule.
Escorted out by several Overwatch cosplayers.
Oh my God.
Two Widowmakers.
All right, tell me what it's like inside Blizzard. I've never been. I would bet a majority of listeners have never been.
Is there a slide?
True. There's no slide, and several other studios I have been to have slides. So there's a slide gap.
Epic has a slide.
Epic's got a slide. Sledgehammer's got a slide.
Damn it. Have you been to Epic, though?
No.
Exactly.
But they've got a slide.
All right.
So Blizzard Campus is insane if you haven't been there. Just like building after building. Yes, I did post a lot of statue pics, but it's just... The culture there is just, it's so incredible. Like, it really feels like it's super nerded out, right? If they have a library.
Finally, a place for nerds.
They don't like to take pictures in the library. It's sort of like our vault, except it has more than just video games. It's got like a huge game table where you play D&D, for instance.
Cool.
And it's just like, they're curating nerd culture inside of that library. It's pretty insane.
And they have a lot of like, hey, it's the Kerrigan meeting room over here, folks.
Yeah, we didn't get to see. They do have that stuff. It wasn't on the tour though.
Okay.
But yeah, they have labeled rooms like Gadgets and Kerrigan room, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, statues, cool library, got it.
Did you go in
library's very cool.
Diablo?
They have their own Starbucks. Studio? Oh, the Diablo. You mean so Team 3? Yeah, we couldn't get in there. I tried.
So Team 3, they separated that out, where it's like, okay, Team 3 is working on Diablo stuff.
That's just like that. That's internal designations of like Team X is the Diablo team. Team like originally Hearthstone was like Team 5, for instance.
Yeah. Can you finally reveal the classes available at the start of Diablo 4 when it launches?
Can't do that yet. Sorry.
What did the door look like to the Diablo studio?
It has there is no cow level, no entry kind of thing out front. Very Diablo Easter eggy, and there's like the card scanner for that room is actually a Diablo head, and his eyes are glowing red.
Oh, really?
It's really cool.
Did the eyes turn green when you?
I didn't see anybody actually slide the card in, or I would have.
Oh, so nobody's developing Diablo 4.
Did you see the Diablo light switch stuck in any outlets or anything around the place?
No, but
damn it!
Yeah, they got their own cafeteria, Starbucks. It's like it's
a city. It's a floating city.
Yeah, it basically is a city unto itself.
Why the hell not?
It takes a long time to travel from one position to the other on there.
It's kind of disappointing they have a Starbucks. It should be its own themed.
They made a
thing,
deal of that.
like Blizzard World stuff.
Yeah, like StarCraft.
It really does feel sort of like Blizzard World, though. Like, there's no rides, but like, just like everywhere you step, there's some little trinket or statue or something that, you know, it's just promoting the IPs and the games, and it's in a very fun way.
Yeah. Now, did you go over to the World of Warcraft building?
The World of Warcraft building. Yeah, yes, we did.
Okay.
Because, of course, we got to play some of the new expansion.
Yeah. So Battle for Azeroth is coming out when?
August 14th.
August 14th. And I'm confused. So how open have they been about this expansion so far?
Very open with it.
Okay.
Very
so
open.
people know a lot about it already.
Yeah, there's an ongoing alpha. I don't know. There's a lot of information that's come out. A lot of stuff. People have been playing some of the content early on.
Yeah, because we did a new gameplay today video. I guess what confused me about it is like it's so focused on this one specific mode.
Right. So this mode is because it's a new feature. It's one of the new expansion features.
One of the biggest features in the expansion.
I mean, it's hard to compare because the stuff that's already gonna be there and is always there, like dungeons and raids,
Yeah.
and all this stuff, that's always gonna be a big deal.
This
But
is a new wrinkle.
Right. This is the new wrinkle,
Okay.
and it gives the Horde and Alliance a chance to fight each other while getting this new resource, Azerite, which is the thing that now powers up your end game progression.
New resource overall.
Azerite.
Has Azerite ever existed in
Sounds
the
like
lore?
a medicine.
We can
Yeah.
just call it. It's the same thing as artifact power, essentially, from the last expansion.
Okay.
You just acquire it differently and it functions differently, but it's the end game resource that lets you level when you're done leveling.
Okay.
Is that right?
So it's this whole PvE
Azerite.
versus PvP mixture island battle arena
Yes.
type thing?
So you can do it. It's weird because you can do it in several ways. If you're a PvPer, you can play it in PvP mode. If you're a PvEer, you can play it on PvE with multiple difficulty levels against
Really?
advanced AI teams.
Huh.
And we got a video up on this, which you
Yeah.
should check out on the site.
It's for everyone.
Yeah. Are you feeling optimistic about Battle for Azeroth overall?
You know, I was a little skeptical. I thought Legion was a fantastic expansion, the best one they've had in many years.
Yeah.
And the artifact and their end game and the world quest and all that stuff really kept the longevity going long after the level up phase, and didn't just evolve into, oh, well, got to get geared up for raiding. Now I'm raiding. And okay, now I'm going to not play for 6 months.
Right.
I think it really kept people engaged. And I was initially very skeptical about some of the new features in this expansion, as if they will be able to, because artifact weapons are going away. We're losing those.
Okay.
And apparently the system, which we don't know everything about yet, is the Azerite-powered system where we get to make choices. Instead of the artifact sort of like a progression where it's just like, I'm getting stronger. Okay, I'm still getting stronger. I'm getting stronger. But it's a straight line, more or less. You don't have many choices. This new system is going to let you get choices. Like, I want this spell to be better.
I'm getting weaker.
Ooh.
I want this spell to be better. I want this skill to be better. Along those lines.
Yeah.
And I'm interested in that. But outside of the allied, there's allied races. Okay, so new races. So what, right? Are we doing the same thing? So that's why I was skeptical of this little island thing. It's 3-person, doesn't really give you like the group comp thing.
Yeah.
You can't really do mechanics.
Right.
You can't give everybody has to, if you want to take 3 hunters, you may not have to bring it, you can't say you need a healer, you need a tank, you need all these things. You can just go, right? But after experiencing it, I think that the randomization elements, they really do, hopefully this is a thing that people can do over and over and over, and it's different every time. And that's way more exciting to me than going in a dungeon that's going to be the same every time.
Okay.
Or maybe have like one different thing every time.
Right.
But randomization also brings concerns, right?
I mean,
And balancing and all that stuff.
Absolutely. And I think that's why the PvP wrinkle is so interesting. Let's say that, you have a team comp and you go in there and you're like, okay, well, this comp is really good at killing enemies, but probably we shouldn't PvP them. Let's stay on this side of the island and try to find all the stuff over here, try to stay out of combat with them. And maybe they're very PvP focused and they're like, well, we got a comp that can go smash some people. Let's go take it to them and try to steal their Azerite and win that way.
Yeah.
You can win it theoretically fully PvP without ever seeing the other team.
Weird deal. If you want to learn more about it, new gameplay today. Check it out. Battle for Azeroth.
Yeah.
Island Adventures.
Island Expeditions.
Island Expeditions. There we go. Let's talk about briefly. Let's go back in time a little bit to the start of MMOs. Richard Garriott.
Oh boy.
Here we go. So
Oh, gosh.
that game, Shroud of the Avatar, Ultima's
Shroud of the
creator.
It's out now. Whoa.
It is out now. So Ultima's creator, Richard Garriott, he went into space 6,000 times or
He
something.
did.
So
He's been there as many times as I've been to Blizzard.
yeah, exactly. And then he announced Shroud of the Avatar years and years ago. I think at E3 2013, we did a video with him and Felicia Day, Greg
That was a
Kasavin.
long time ago.
It's such a long time ago. And now this game's
boy.
out. Shroud of the Avatar.
Yeah, and I am about 15 hours in right now,
Okay.
with many more ahead. I have never been so thoroughly perplexed about how to feel about a game.
Ooh.
So this is like,
It's the Jurassic World of games.
I know how I feel about Jurassic.
Oh, I see.
Jurassic, I know how I feel about that very clearly. But this is like, it's so weird. Like if you're an old school Ultima style player, no level ups, just skilling up things. So what you do is what you get better at, and very little direction. Go wherever you want, do whatever you want,
Sounds great.
find things, craft things. That's all great. That's the good stuff. But it's very like, oh boy, like it's rough around the edges, man.
Just technically.
Like, yeah, going in with zone being like a gray wolf, a bandit. Like this is really old school MMO stuff.
Yeah.
And it's
So
very
it's-
gritty.
Lacks creativity. Is that what you're saying? Or is it?
I don't know if it lacks creativity. It's just like now that I'm so inundated with modern MMOs and have been for like 15 years, where you have a theme park experience where it's like, let's group up, let's do a dungeon. I have barely interacted with any players over the course of this 15 hours. And you interacted with them indirectly through sort of player run vendors in towns. But I have not said, hey, let's group up and take on this guy.
I didn't even realize this was an MMO. Maybe I'm a complete idiot.
So that's another unusual thing. You can play it completely single player without any of those server things.
and there's not
player
like
vendors.
a subscription or any nonsense, right?
I don't know what the add-ons are. I have not
Okay.
checked in. That's something I got to look into.
Okay. So overall, for the hardcore Ultima fans, maybe check it out.
Man, I think there's a free trial or something. I'm not sure. I haven't looked into the shop. The shop I've tried to stay away from. Like I don't want to just cover gameplay right now.
Sure.
But there are like things you can get. Yeah. So if you're an if you crave that really old school like EQ Ultima experience where maybe the troll doesn't look so great and maybe you just get zerged down by 1,000 bandits randomly and you can go to any area you want almost right away to take on stuff that's a billion levels higher than you if you want to really challenge yourself, craft all your own gear, live on the edge,
If you're not living on the edge, taking up too much space, baby.
No, that's right. And
That's right.
never do a quest if you don't want to. Just go kill a wolf for a half an hour. Watch your sword skill level up.
Dan, you don't seem too hot on this game so far.
But I'm not super hot on it as a current gen MMO. But man, it does conjure up feelings. Like I get into those. I
don't
moments.
like this.
Just go back and watch some EverQuest footage if you want to conjure up feelings.
I get into that. I get into my element. Like I couldn't. Like I played till 3 a.m. last night.
Whoa,
I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop.
that's
at
your
midnight.
Fortnite time.
I know, right?
Yeah,
And I was very
taking it.
disappointed because I love my Fortnite time.
All right,
But this
all
isn't
right.
about Fortnite. So I'm sitting there. I'm just like, okay, well, I'll kill a few more wolves and skin them. And I just kept doing it. And it's like, wow, well, now I got a 2-handed mace, and now I can kill like 3 wolves at once with my earth magic. And man, I'm getting really good at killing wolves, and I really want to fill my bags up. Maybe I'll just leave next time I go to town. But then I get back to town, I buy a whole new set of gear, and then I'm like, well, maybe I can go take on that place that I couldn't take on before because there were like
That
lava
has you,
golems.
Dan.
There we go,
got you.
Dan.
It's got
And
you
it's like
hooked
it's a very old school hook, and I don't know if it'll last because I need dungeons, I need raids, I need that kind of stuff, and that may be there, but I haven't gotten to that yet.
You're a dungeon man. Do they have Lord British in there?
I haven't seen him.
Do you
He's
think
in space.
It's New it's New Britannia, so he's probably there, right?
it's what? Uber Tanya?
New Britannia.
Oh,
Britannia.
really? Okay.
So I don't. But is Lord British isn't licensed, right? He can use his own.
Does EA own Lord British?
That's what I'm wondering right
He's
now.
so stupid.
Uh,
So review coming on the site. Maybe
we will. It'll happen.
It'll happen, ladies and gentlemen.
It'll be there when
He's
it's
got to
done.
play it.
It'll be there when
All
it's
right.
done.
All right, sounds good. You guys are moving on to some great emails.
That sounds great.
Okay, emails. And welcome back to the Game Informer Show. I'm still here. We have an expanded crew. This thing's growing. It's like the Blob. No connection to the Blob. We have Jeff Cork here now.
Chief Blob.
Kyle Hilliard here.
I prefer Katamari.
And Dan Tech still around.
I am here with all my equipment.
That's right, but he's bigger and stronger, and he's making off-air references like we all love. So what we're going to do here is read through a bunch of emails that people sent into podcast@GameInformer.com. They sent in questions, news stories, words of wisdom, just funny things, insightful things, anything that makes the show better. People sent it into podcast@GameInformer.com. I sorted through a lot, was amazed by all of them. I chose some of my favorites. We're going to read them all, and we're going to choose our absolute favorite and ship them out something
Real nice.
Okay, first email is a correction, saying this is actually a bad podcast. No.
This show wasn't that big.
Yeah, this is this is Kate from Australia saying, "Hello, crew. Love your work. Thank you. The Spider-Man coverage has been unreal. I agree.
Hey.
We were talking on last week's show about like, oh, what's the last time this? Maybe it wasn't on the show, but we're talking about like, what's the last time we felt this much hype around a cover story? And Reiner was like, I think GTA 5. I think Zelda's close.
That was one for me.
Yeah.
Because I think you and I, in particular, were like watching it a lot closer than Reiner. But that was the last time I remember people like tweeting at me like, hey, when's the next feature coming? Hey, when's the next feature coming?
Right.
You know, was Zelda for sure.
Right.
So.
No offense, Metro. Anyways, so I'm emailing concerning Elisa's comments last week about Breath of the Wild receiving a mature rating in Australia. Well, it's true it did receive a mature rating. Our mature is different from yours. It's upside down. No.
So it's a W?
Yep. It's more comparable to your teen rating. Until 2013, our highest age rating was MA for games, meaning you had to be 15 to purchase it. I only mention this because I always hear how hard Australia is on games, and it's always amusing because for a very long time, our highest age rating was 2 years lower than yours, and it was rare for anything to be banned. Sorry for the long email, but thanks.
Oh, that's interesting.
Thanks, Australian
I've
listeners.
seen longer.
So they give like more M ratings, but younger people can buy M rated.
Right, because you're legally considered mature at age 7 in Australia. I do.
Drinking age.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yep. We love you, Australia. Joel from Durham, New Hampshire. Says, first I'd like to share that, like Ben Reeves, I too cannot find peanut butter Twix, and it's sad. It is sad.
This is a serious problem.
It really is a problem. Anyways, I was so glad to see Spider-Man is the magazine's next cover story. This got
What
me
a
thinking.
transition.
Anywho, this got me thinking about how cool it would be for Marvel to build a video game universe akin to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Imagine it. Marvel hires various developers across the industry to make games based on Marvel superheroes that share the same universe, which then leads to an Avengers-like game that pulls everything together. It's a long shot, but I can't stop thinking about it. Now I know Square Enix is working on their own Avengers game, but couldn't that be related to the PS4 Spider-Man?
I think people need to take a long look at the history of licensed games before they start asking for this to happen again.
Oh, look at Disney Infinity. That's like the ultimate Avengers team up there.
Hey, there's no doubt I'm super hyped about the new Spider-Man and all that stuff, but you can't just when you get to that point where it's just like, well, let's just do it all, then it can become a problem.
Right. But Kyle, since you were on that Spider-Man cover story trip, the Avengers connection in particular.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Would it ever in a world conceivably connect to Square's Avengers project that Crystal Dynamics is working on?
I don't think so. There are Avengers references in the Spider-Man game that we know of.
Right.
Such as?
Avengers Tower is in the game.
How do you know that's Avengers Tower?
Because there's a building with a big old A on it,
Okay.
and they call it Avengers Tower.
Did it say A is for Avengers Tower? Because it could be an alternate universe.
Creative director Brian Intihar said Avengers Tower is in the game. Here's a picture of it.
All right.
I guess this is ironclad.
So much for that.
But as far as
questioning.
like disparate developers working on games that eventually sort of coalesce into something, that just seems too
I don't understand.
too pie in the sky.
Yeah, I don't understand the end game there. Is it like a Smash Brothers where every developer gets their own character that they tweak, balance, and design?
No, I think it'd be one developer that would make it, but then just like take cues from like, okay, here we have jumping universes.
You chrono
It's like,
trigger it, and you bring all the best people on, right? That's
well, more so than that, though, where it's like we're taking the actual character and furthering the plot from the other studio's video game with this one, which
but then
I'm sure there's examples of something close to this.
I think it's called Super Smash Bros.
That's what it is. I always forget the name of that game.
You gotta think of like the whatever imaginary Iron Man game will play so different from Spider-Man that like you can't really overlap them. So it would have to be. It would be cool to like wrap in the canon of all those games and the story like leading to that. But I just, as far as like disparate play styles and stuff, I just don't think it would ever mesh well. Or
actually, now that I think about it, it might work because like the Marvel movies, each one of them has like a weird, like its own individual tone.
Right.
And even though it's all like typically made by Marvel Studios, if every individual developer had like, hey, we're making a driving game.
But that's still a monumental task to try and
would
mesh
not
those
happen.
tones together.
It is a cool idea. It would be very cool. I like, what we're doing now is like we have a Spider-Man game. I mean, this is a different universe. We have a Batman game, and those are solid and they're fine standing alone. Like I would like to see more Marvel heroes get dedicated games. Like I would like to play an Iron Man game, but I just don't see it overlapping.
Doctor
with
Strange
Spider-Man.
game?
Yeah, I'd play that.
How about the pinball?
It could be like
FX
Prince of Persia.
games, like all the Marvel pinballs. Does that technically count?
That's basically it already.
Yeah.
But in terms of like the Crystal Dynamics thing, I mean, you got to remember that Sony's also, they still own Spider-Man, I believe, the rights to it. So that's why it's a PlayStation 4 exclusive, obviously, there. And so it's a weird, murky ground. So it's not like it's all coming from the same licensing house.
Yeah.
There are different lawyers on different ends of the world, probably, between Squares and Sony.
No matter where you go, there's always a lawyer.
Yeah, no kidding. Blood-sucking lawyer.
There you go.
Mike from Maine says, hello, crew. Any chance... Oh, how relevant. Says, any chance of getting a Jeff Goldblum GI t-shirt with the quote from him on the podcast from the other week saying, quote, "We don't put anything in Tupperware"? I cannot stop saying it.
Oh, wait. So what would the...
Yeah, what's the context for that?
Well, what would
Blow
the
the
t-shirt
stink off
be?
you.
Yeah. The t-shirt, I think, would just be the Game Informer logo, and then it says, "We don't put anything in Tupperware,"
Okay.
from Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, like instead of the
2018.
world's #1 video game magazine, it would just say, "We don't put anything in Tupperware."
That's good.
Make that shirt. What,
Yeah, yeah.
email it to me.
Officially, on behalf of all of Game Informer and whoever owns us or whatever, you are legally allowed to make that shirt. We won't stop you. You're allowed to put the words, "We don't put anything in Tupperware."
Everyone has access to a Sharpie at this point, right? I mean, you can make that shirt very easily.
Make that shirt. Okay. Hello, Game Informers. This is Jose from the Philippines. Longtime listener, first-time mailer. So my friends and I were discussing who our favorite game designers were. Good discussion. The discussion then shifted towards who would do a better job.
Oh no.
I can't stop laughing.
You're gonna have to.
There's
push
nothing
through
funny
it.
here. There's nothing here. The discussion then shifted towards who would do a better job in designing each other's games. So I wanted to ask who would do a better job in designing their opponents' games in the following matchups. Yeah, these are classic rivals from the video game industry.
Interesting.
Oh god,
So you gotta-
it's
you
gonna
gotta-
be completely bizarre. Isn't
It's
it?
going to be tough to wrap our minds around. We got to flip flop them across the
Okay.
streams. You know what I mean? Freaky Friday this.
Yeah.
And we're picking. We're
Who would
making
do a better
decisions.
job?
Okay.
Ken Levine for BioShock series versus Hideo Kojima and Metal Gear Solid.
Now, for the sake of argument, we realize that those two guys did not make those games by themselves. So we're assuming the entire team.
I saw the credits for
Oh.
Metal Gear, and I think it just said Hideo Kojima like 400
Himself.
times.
Cork's
Yeah.
bringing up a good topic here. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but their vision kind of helped shape those games for sure. But yeah,
they did
totally.
like 80
video games.
of the work.
I have hundreds of people working on them, and it's
Yeah,
all a
Jose.
product of everybody's.
Read the credits, buddy.
Okay.
So to be fair, yeah, we'll play it by his rules, right? But with
yeah.
the
Creative director roles
Yes.
Okay.
on these projects.
So would Hideo Kojima's BioShock be better than Ken Levine's Metal Gear Solid?
And the answer is
Right.
yes.
The answer, I would rather play Hideo Kojima's BioShock, I think.
I would rather play
Really?
Ken Levine's
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid.
Interesting.
I think he would. I think Kojima would do something more interesting, right? I don't really want to play a first-person shooter Metal Gear Solid.
I don't know.
You didn't
It's a
know. You
shooter.
didn't say that it was going to be a
I mean,
first-person shooter.
I think he's got his thief roots. Like he loves stealth. He loves being sneaky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like first-person stealth.
Okay. Well,
I'm
what
with
about,
Ken.
all right. What about this one here?
Okay.
Shigeru Miyamoto worked on Super Mario series.
Oh, thank
Fun
you.
fact. Versus Tim Schafer and Psychonauts.
Okay.
Do you want to see Miyamoto's Psychonauts or
Yeah.
Schafer's Mario?
I want to see Miyamoto Psychonauts. Are you kidding me?
He would be so
please.
disgusted being put on another franchise.
He would, but theoretically in this, we're not factoring that in, right? He's going to enjoy working on this product like he would any other product, right? For the purpose of this
We're going
discussion.
to force him to enjoy it.
Right.
This one is actually
force him to
tough
enjoy
because, like,
Yeah.
I would love to see Tim Schafer's mind write a Mario story. I think it would
Yeah.
be very funny, and it would like make a lot of jokes about the sort of start of the industry with Mario, and that would be hilarious. But Miyamoto's
But we already kind of
Psychonauts,
have funny Mario, and it's Paper Mario.
Yeah.
Like,
but Psychonauts, like, or Miyamoto's Psychonauts would play so well.
Yeah, it would.
It would play. It would just the platforming would be so good.
yeah.
So if I have to pick one, I think I would rather play Schafer's Mario just because I want to see where that narrative goes. I think it'd
Okay.
be very funny.
I go Miyamoto's Psychonauts, but you know, that's just me.
Well, I
Okay.
just like to pick different things than the rest of you guys.
Now we're getting gritty.
Whoa.
Folks. David Jaffe's, from God of War series versus Cliff Bleszinski's Gears of War series, right? So Jaffe directing Gears of War or Bleszinski directing God of War?
Okay.
I want the Blazinski God of War for sure.
What?
Really?
Yes, I do.
Would it be a shooter, a God of War shooter?
That wasn't. I don't think it's expressly stated that
It's
we
not
have
expressly
to.
stated.
True. Blazinski does mostly shooters, though. He did Commander Keen, right? That was him.
As Jack Rabbit he worked on.
I think we're
Okay.
going for more of his modern stuff when we look
So
at
shooters then.
But
Lawbreakers.
Yeah,
I think I'd like to see Bleszinski's God of War.
yeah, same
Very
here.
interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like mixing up God of War more than I like mixing up Gears.
Yeah.
Gears of War, I
Or
think.
hell, make them work together. Gears of God. Get
Love
to
it.
man.
They
I don't
both
think
have the
I don't think
same,
we can do that for the exercise though.
They're both just call it GOW.
There we go. Mikami's Last of Us or Neil Druckmann's Evil Within?
Oh,
This one's harder. This one's harder.
I guess Druckmann's Evil Within. I would like to see Druckmann do a more like weird screw with your mind kind of game.
Yeah.
Because most of his, Uncharted and Last of Us are pretty grounded.
Jack X Combat Racing, he did the UI design. That messed with my mind.
Yeah, that had that Queens of the Stone Age song in the beginning, which
Did it
really,
really?
yeah, which really throws off like, what universe are we in here?
I'm not going with this flow. Boy.
I go with the other one. I go with Mikami's Last of Us.
Yeah.
To make Last of Us more weird and crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's lose our minds. All right, here's a tough one.
All right.
And he doesn't have a cue for pronunciation, but Sid Meier's Civilization or J.V. Gwaltney's Terror Aboard the Speedwell. Do you want to see Sid Meier's, that's an old reference, I'm sorry, to Terror Aboard the Speedwell, which apparently is a game J.V. worked on or made, versus J.V. Gwaltney's Civilization?
I want to see J.V. Gwaltney's Civilization.
I think we've seen it. It's a dirty house.
I
I assume he's messy around his house. I have no idea.
I mean, that's fair, right? Yeah, I'd make that assumption as well.
What faction would you play as, like, the Mopes?
I am going to go with the Sid Meier's title on this one.
Sid Meier's Terror Aboard the Speedwell.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'd like to see him tackle anything, but it's
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Yeah.
Tackle Jamie. Okay, hello, Game Informers. Rex from Baltimore, Maryland here. I have a question for you, you little stinkers. What does the game Minute and Nicolas Cage have in common?
I haven't played Minutes, so this is tough.
Try and figure this one out on the podcast.
Both have the letter N in them.
Leo knows. I also know, but
I wish I would have played the game.
The game Minute and Nicolas Cage. What do they have in common?
What do they have in common? Minute.
The Minute.
They both have.
And
They
Nicolas
yell about bees.
Cage.
Leaving
Leo
Las
Vader, will you
Vegas.
please save us?
They're both gone in 60 seconds.
Oh! Adam Kenny writes in and says, "Hey, Ben and friends, I was listening to the Chrono Cross soundtrack recently, and a song called Alternate Arnie had such a beautiful arrangement that it made me think how it would make an interesting choice as a wedding theme. I believe one of the GI editors had a song from Wind Waker play during their wedding. Who was that?
Some huge mega dork,
Yeah,
undoubtedly.
he must be a
Jeff
must be-
Court did.
The worst of the worst.
Yeah, I thought it was inappropriate that, like, you know, like you have cans like trailing behind a car, like just got married. I thought it was inappropriate when you walked down the aisle, you're just dragging a GameCube controller behind you.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Tiffany, my wife, threw it into the crowd and hit my grandma right in the forehead. Ooh.
Oh, that's E-stick height.
Should have been a wave bird.
Anyway.
Ooh.
Anyway, it got me thinking. My wedding is coming up this August. Congratulations. I'd love to know if there are any video game songs you think would make great wedding songs.
That music from the recent Harvest Moon.
A game about laboring
Pull it
on
up,
the
Leo!
farm.
Yeah,
Gonna have to do that, Leo.
How about the hidden dog ending from Silent Hill?
Oh.
The barking?
Oh, okay, the barking sound. Yeah. Stroking.
The pizza delivery music from
stroking.
Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true. We did that on replay. It has a very good pizza delivery sound.
There's a lot of good orchestrated Zelda music, actually, for a legitimate answer.
Zelda, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Saren's theme from Mass Effect 1. Yep.
I think you'll find, as the internet has proven, Guile's theme goes with anything.
That might be the best answer.
Beautiful.
I like Cork leaning into memes. I like that character of just like, I know memes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they announce it? They're like, hey, crowd at the wedding. Hey, Giles and Goyles. Stop if you heard this one.
Oh, this episode is just crazy.
Well, we shifted. Spence writes in and says, "Hey, everybody, I live in Montana, and while I'm impressed with how well Ubisoft has recreated the environment, I'm absolutely driven mad by the southern redneck accents.
By way of Canada.
Almost everyone in the game sounds like they're from Texas, while real-life Montanans have a typical Midwestern non-accent, just like you guys. I agree. The non-accent. The Minnesotan accent. I was really looking forward to this game taking place in my home state, but this one thing is bugging the hell out of me.
I don't know. They don't sound deep Texan, but yeah,
There's a southern twang.
It's pretty southern,
I feel like for Canada, it's like, I don't know, American Hick. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, we want these guys to be dumb, so we'll just go shorthand for dumb, according to us.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wow, Cork just come out and saying stuff today.
No, that's just like a generic, like,
Yeah.
I think it's very offensive. Like, if I was from the South, I'd be like Kyle, for instance, I would be upset about that.
But seriously, though, who's your favorite southern scientist?
Southern scientist? Oh, boy, you gotta...
Colonel Sanders.
That's true.
Bill Nye the Southern guy? I don't know.
Bill, go away. Athena. No, we love the South. We love Australia.
They do food
because
science.
we're the most South.
So the South does food science. Okay, it's a very
true.
valuable
The food
branch
is
of
very
science.
good down there.
Pralines.
Athena, slight 'em.
A lot of pecans.
Just met him. Writes in and says, "Hello, GI Show. Long time listener, first time
What is
call or
is somebody
emailer?
pumping gas in the room today? Like, what is
Yeah.
going on?
I think so. It's coming out of Kyle's butt.
Oh,
On episode 393, the question was asked, what 5 exclusive games would you bring to the Xbox? That got me thinking. At this moment, the PS4 is dominating the console war, which has been raging for far too long. Bring our boys home. The Switch is catching up fast and would likely be winning if they had released at the same time as the other consoles. This places Microsoft in last in the current generation. Just for stats here, before we get to the actual meat of this question. As of November 2017, best reporting I could find is total PlayStation 4 sales, 69 million. Xbox One, 34 million. Switch, 9 million. So anyways, question here is, what can Microsoft do to not just stabilize, but win this generation? Is there anything they could do in this hypothetical scenario? Anything goes, so long as it works. Is there anything they could do to surpass that number?
Blow up some factories. If they say anything goes, right?
What are you talking about?
He did say it is a
Destroy
good-
their-
Nintendo warehouses?
Destroy their supply lines so then they can't make more.
Seize the means of production.
Exactly.
Let's up this console war, baby.
I was going to say some
In or
really
out?
good exclusive games, but I mean,
Whoa.
of course, yeah.
Now you're talking crazy.
Okay, what would be the best exclusive they could possibly land?
Bloodborne 2.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
It couldn't
that's
happen,
actually-
but-
yeah.
But that wouldn't sell. Yeah, I'm bad at math, but 35
You're right, it
million
wouldn't. They
consoles.
would need something else. They would need... Okay, here's what they need. They need a new kick-ass Halo, right? They need a new
Yeah.
amazing Halo.
If it's like a 10 out of 10 Halo,
Right.
how many, realistically, within a year?
Well, they need more than one. It just
No,
means-
no, hear me out though. Kick-ass Halo, 10 out of 10 Halo. Within a year of that game coming out, how many more consoles will they sell?
Do we get the data on like how many units of the console that a game will sell? Come on, that's like...
Leo, I need that exact number if you can work it up in the booth.
Yeah.
But
15.
Holy cow.
Let's give them credit for 10 million off that.
Also, keep in mind, in theory, this would also come out on PC, right?
So this
yes.
is
Yes,
this
Jeff
is
Cork.
this is anything goes. I would like to take back the destroying the factories and Red Dead 2 exclusive Xbox.
That would be
Ooh,
big.
There's
yeah.
no way they would surpass
you
the
said
total sales.
anything goes.
I know, but even that, I don't think they would sell
Well, they-
twice as many
Hang
consoles.
on. They get Red Dead. They get Halo. They get Bloodborne 2.
Yeah,
And let's get
that's moving the needle a bit, but not enough to win the console generation.
And they're also like a sequel. Well, I guess Bloodborne 2 is a good example, but something like a Destiny 3, like if that became a Microsoft
That would be
exclusive,
immense.
okay, let's
you
keep
know.
going. All right, what else would they need before they would actually
fix
need
the UI on the console. That would be great.
Sure.
A new Batman, maybe, to counter Spider-Man. Like if they got an exclusive on the next
Okay, they
Batman.
also have exclusive Batman.
hot
Yeah.
new IP that everyone's got to play.
Right. New battle
A new
royale.
one.
Like a new Fortnite.
Mm-hmm.
On the scale of Fortnite.
That would
Honestly-
do it. That would do it itself.
Okay, well, here we go. Realistically, okay, Fortnite 2
Mhm.
exclusive, which what is that even? Minecraft 2, they just say those words.
And that's the thing that could actually.
That-
But
yeah.
that could actually. That's a feasible thing.
Yeah.
Like that might actually like happen
Right.
soon.
I'm saying all those things still what the end of the generation is 2 years away. They're still not surpassing PS4.
I don't. If all those things happen, it could happen. That's a viable thing.
Also-
And they release a version of the Stuxnet virus that destroys all of the other consoles somehow.
And Microsoft buys Sony and Nintendo.
Yes.
Still
Yes.
not surpassing.
I mean, yeah, that's the easy way to do it, right? Just buy Sony.
Yeah.
This is a very smart analysis.
Buy a
by the way.
Sony. Bonus round. What would PS4 Switch need to do to lose this generation?
Have those things happen to them that we just outlined.
Yeah, that's true. Is there anything like the Switch could do at this point to cut off its growth, other than an empty calendar for 1080?
That one's tough because it's
There
like,
you go.
Yeah,
it's
well,
a-
Smash, but
even it's such a separate console. Like it's competing in a different way, you know? Like a lot of people I think own either PS4 or Xbox One and then they also own a Switch, you know,
Right.
where it's not like one or the other. But yeah, I don't know if just nothing comes out for it and every game that comes to Switch is not exclusive. You know, it's just like the inferior port of games we're playing on PS4.
okay, realistically, PS4, Switch, not a single other game is released. No indie thing, nothing on the
Nothing.
eShop. Nothing's released for the rest of the console
How is it-
generation. Hang on, seriously, nothing.
Yeah.
Also, everything we listed before is exclusive to Xbox One. Would Xbox One numbers surpass PS4 numbers by the
Yeah.
end of the generation?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
They don't get any more games.
35 million more consoles?
Easily.
No way, dude.
If no games are made for the
Yeah.
other consoles,
Yeah.
no.
I don't know. I'm with you. I mean,
Easily.
35 million consoles over 2 years.
And he gave it all those exclusives, plus
Yes.
ostensibly all the other games that would release for these other two systems.
You say yes? 35 million consoles?
well, okay,
they sell?
but people might
Sure.
be they'll switch, right? They'll trade in their PS4s for Xbox One, so that number goes down.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Good hypothetical. Let us know what you think.
It's
Podcastinginformer.com.
possibly the worst hypothetical, but it's you know.
Dan, are you
I
attacking
like-
Athena Slightum?
No,
I
I thought you're hypothetical about.
Oh, I see.
Right.
I really do
This
like the
question was
base
cool.
question of how does Xbox come back? Like, what is
Right.
the list of things they need to do? And
There's
it's a
also
tough
that weird thing
question.
where like it's easy to see the total sales and be like, oh man, but it'd be better to have some perception of if they see it internally as failing versus like breaking even. I have no
I don't
sense
think
of
so.
that.
I'm sure they're happy with how it's selling.
They're okay.
Yeah, they seem all right over there.
You know, it'd be a fun interview to get on the show.
I know Jeff Goldblum.
Oh, that would be
That
fun.
would be a good one.
No, don't you think it'd be interesting to talk to Don Matrick? If you could just like booze him up and just talk about like what happened.
Booze him up and get him on the show.
Yeah, juice him up and
Hey,
go.
you got
yeah.
a few in you. Let's get you out. Roll the tape.
Yeah,
Reach
I think
out
it'd be
to
an
him.
interesting perspective, just being out of the game for a little bit.
I think it'd be interesting.
Thank you. Can you reach out to him, Dan?
Oh yeah,
We got booze. What's your address?
I got a nice bottle of scotch. We'll take care of this.
We got to get him here first, then give him the booze. We can't give him the booze first.
Chris Mertens from LA. No H in Chris. Interesting.
It's okay.
It's fine. He says, hello, crew. This question is for the table. Looking back through all the years, through all of your years, I'm going to read this now.
Okay.
Looking back through all of the years in your
Oh boy.
Are you gonna make
one of
it?
us to
I
read it?
can't.
You
No,
weren't here.
No, here we go. Looking back through all the years in your professional career, what is your single most cringe-inducing moment as a gaming journalist? Your answer doesn't have to be restricted to your time at Game Informer. You can change it and you can change any names to maintain privacy. Maybe an interview gone wrong, a mishandled handshake, Jeff Quirk. Just any moment that makes you wince a little bit when you remember how awkward it was. Also, the sound mix is sounding great. Thanks, Chris. Hot damn.
Yeah, I would say right there. You said Jeff Cork. In E3 one year, we ran into former intern Allie Rapp.
Remember her, everybody?
Yeah, she's great, and it was just a comedy of errors. I was so horrified. It was like this awkward handshake turning into a hug thing, and we were doing our E3 video, and I remember immediately afterwards, I told Hanson, I said, "You better fucking destroy that tape." I don't ever, not even like as a jokey stinger at the end. Because I was so mortified. I don't know what happened.
I have never seen Cork so horrified. And it's not like
was
he accidentally
awful.
pulled his pants down or something. It was just an awkward handshake, and he treated it like, he dropped a racial slur or something on the tour. Like, it was absurd.
Yeah.
The level of fear he had over the
There's
world
there's
seeing this hug.
A lot of self-loathing it's going on underneath this hoodie. So for some reason, I fixated on that. That's probably the biggest cringe.
Oh my God.
I have had this weird thing. I have met Ted Price, I think maybe 3 occasions now, like once at E3, once for the Spider-Man trip, and I think there was a third time as well. But every time I meet him, the handshake that I go for always fumbles. I don't know why, specifically with him, but I always fumble the handshake, and then I have to make an awkward joke of like, they're going for the
What
fist
does a
bump.
fumbled handshake look like?
Just like I reach too far and hit the inside of his arm or something
Guts.
like that, or
Wow.
You just tuck your thumb in and like go up his sleeve.
Coming up.
I just take his watch, but I don't know. But like it was very specific. I remember meeting him on like multiple occasions. I always screw up the handshake with
Because
Ted
you're
Price.
so nervous? Because you're a fan?
Yes. Yeah, I'm a fan, but I don't know why him specifically. It's very strange.
That's very
I'm
strange.
very cool around every
Yeah.
other developer I've
Yeah.
ever met.
Just grab his
we're
hand
all
and
best
kiss it
friends.
next time.
Oh, that's a good idea. Just really get it. Just do the most awkward thing possible right away.
Just do it.
You know, it'd be really fun if you're a famous person or someone that like people are nervous around for some reason. I hope you're listening to this podcast. Like, instead of going for a handshake, which has like a 10% chance of being awkward, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go for an extreme high five every time, just to really put that person on the spot, right? Where it's like, oh God, there's nothing more terrifying to me than high fiving anybody because I always blow it, and the
you
idea
like
of doing that
this?
when you're nervous is terrifying. Yeah.
This seems like bad
Right on,
advice.
Oh yeah. Then don't do it. Whatever you want.
Yeah. Get in there.
Yeah. I've never been embarrassed. No, I don't know.
I mean, I have one.
Oh, please, Zach.
It's gonna be short and sweet because I don't want to put any names in it. But I mistook one person that I know pretty well for another person that I know very well, and that's it. That's the whole story.
Did you go in for a hug?
No.
From
it was-
behind?
I had that exact thing happen to me.
It was
at
actually,
E3.
hey, name, and it's like,
Uh-oh.
I'm not name.
Oh, that's rough. I had that thing. And I'll keep this generic, but at E3 a couple years ago, there was like someone that was coming to a party, that I knew a little bit, and I thought they showed up. And I was like, hey, good to see you. I gave him a big hug. Then I realized that wasn't the person I thought it was. And that was, in fact, the wife of the person that I was talking to at this party. And I had never met the wife. And so this guy is probably just like, what the hell is this guy doing? Just like diving in a hug on my wife. It was very
excited to meet the wife for the big stuff.
Yeah.
Been hands-on.
Yeah. Don't. Come on. Don't. Come on. Be cool. Also, just in the realm of really embarrassing.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have facial blindness, but I was recently in Duluth, Minnesota, and my sister works at a brewery up there. And I know my sister pretty well. And a friend of mine's like, oh, your sister's working at the brewery. I'm like, oh, cool. So I walked in this room. She's like, there she is. And I looked across this room like, is that my sister? I don't know. And then the lady was like waving at me. So I was like, okay, yeah, I guess she just has a weird haircut or something. And so I went over and started talking to her, and I slowly realized, this is not my sister.
It's your sister.
How do you know? I felt terrible that I was
Had you not seen her in a while? Or?
No, I just saw her like a couple months ago.
No, that's weird, man. Like,
it was super
sister.
weird.
She didn't just stop at a haircut. She got a new face.
Okay, wait. So how did you get? How did you get out of it? How did you start the conversation? How did you get out of it?
I went up and I was like, hey, and then it was like I got to throw my buddy under the bus a little bit because she was like talking to her as if she was my sister because she was convinced the entire time. And then as she was talking, I was slowly more and more convinced, and I had to be like, hey, that's not
more
her.
Convinced. It took some
time to figure out.
It took a
this
little
is so
time.
Weird. Okay.
I know.
Well,
Tat,
okay.
I was really weirded out by it too.
How did you exit the conversation?
I said, no, that's not my sister. But then I said, hey, there are a lot of events going on at this brewery this weekend. Let's talk about this.
Did she realize what was going on? I'm very fascinated by this.
Eventually, I think we had to explain it to her. And then the next day when my sister was there, we talked to her, and my sister was perplexed, and she was perplexed because she's like, I have red hair. Your sister doesn't have red hair. It's like, I don't know. I genuinely cannot explain how my brain broke that day.
Weird. All right.
Anyways, Mason Cowell from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Woo woo. He says, hey, Ben and friends, with the news dropping today, not today, of another expansion to No Man's Sky, I was wondering if there's any chance you guys would do a review in progress sort of thing for it. I want to know how much it's changed.
I think we need Joe to speak to that, really.
Yes, absolutely. We don't re-review things, but I'm sure we'll give some impressions of it as it comes out. This is No Man's Sky Next, they're calling it. Cork, as someone who also went on that cover story trip for No Man's Sky, what do you think about this quiet announcement of another big expansion's coming?
I've only messed around with the last expansion a little bit, so I just don't know what that game is anymore. I know Miller did, like with that last one, he did write up some pretty extensive impressions on it, so it isn't like revisiting the review necessarily, but I mean, he'll certainly...
We'll give you an opinion on it.
Yeah.
For sure. And it's coming to Xbox One now, which is exciting.
Which makes it sort of seem like it's a bigger deal than previous expansions. Like,
yeah, they said it's their biggest
platform
so far, you know, by a mile, and so I'm very curious. I think they're rebounding a little bit too much in the realm of like, we don't want to say anything, we'll just put it out. It'd be nice if there was a little more guidance about what this thing is and how they're framing it.
But at the same time, if you were them, you'd probably be really nervous about saying anything that could be
absolutely
right.
And I understand that, but I think it can be done. And not just because I want Sean Murray back on the podcast, but I do desperately want Sean Murray back on the podcast. I want to give him a big high five. Let's see. Hello, crew. My name is.
We could probably find someone else who kind of looks like him, and you can talk to him.
And you
think he's Sean Murray.
I can find you Sean Murray in about half an hour.
Yeah, that's true. It's like 68% of the Pacific Northwest is Sean Murray. Hey, Ben and crew. My name is Joe, and I'm from Bloomington, Illinois. Congratulations. After recently playing through Sunset Overdrive, I found I now have a weird craving for orange soda. Never really drank it before starting the game, but I find that I crave it more often.
All right.
Question for the crew is: has there ever been anything picked up, like a new favorite food or craving a certain drink from video games? Side note: Microsoft, please make Sunset Overdrive 2. Let's add that on that exclusive pile. Okay. Have you ever played a game?
This is a really weird thing to think about.
And had like a drink or a food in it, and say, after playing that beat 'em up, I'm craving a turkey.
Well, mine was playing a lot of Shenmue and having never gone to Japan, and then going to Japan and being like, oh, I want to get stuff from weird drinks from vending machines and stuff like that, because that's what you do a lot in Shenmue.
Right.
But it wasn't.
And you drove your forklift to Japan as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I made that work. Yeah. And then I did some races and stuff like that. One thing, I really wanted to get coffee in a can, and between my 2 trips going to Japan, I never actually got any.
I feel like that's involuntary.
Yeah.
Just fed coffee in a can.
Well, the thing, remember when we went that first time, it was so hot. Like it was blisteringly hot, and I was like, I don't want any kind of hot liquid anywhere near me because it was brutal.
I bet I was drinking some hot coffee.
It gets really hot there.
I don't think you did actually.
Oh really?
I think you got that sweat, that pickery sweat,
Pocari
stuff.
sweat.
Pocari sweat
Oh,
stuff.
so good.
Yeah,
My favorite kind of sweat to drink. Cork, do you ever crave stuff from a game?
Yeah, I think that like the Yakuza games, they're always eating is a big component of those, and the food looks good because they can take nice pictures of the food.
Yeah, that's very true.
Final Fantasy 15's
Also-
a little in the same vein.
Final Fight, trash turkey. Always
Yeah,
wanna eat
Just
that.
like I play. Yeah, just beat up a big guy and eat a turkey every day.
Some curry, some gum that some guy spits out.
All in the day's work. All right, we got a long one here from
Okay.
Thomas Courtley.
Okay.
He says, hey, GI crew and Ben, who I assume reads all these things, especially with catchy subjects. Hello. I just wanted to send an email to say, please give a shout out to underappreciated Game Informer staff member. Who do you think it is? I'll give you 38 guesses.
We don't need 38.
Wait. Underappreciated. So it's
So they use the term staff member instead of editor. So that makes me immediately go to production side.
Lele?
Not Lele.
Kato. He's not on a lot of videos.
Not Kato.
This is
Leo.
There's no clues
Not
here.
Leo.
There's no clues
Ben.
except for
Jeff
that.
Cork. Me.
Incorrect.
Dan Tapp.
Incorrect. I did
Andy
say
McNamara.
I did say staff member.
Andy Reiner. Matt Burks.
He did say
I'm
staff
just going
member.
through the staff.
Who?
Jeff Murr in your subscription sales team. Jeff'em 2. There is a secret Jeff'em. Yeah, it never appeared on camera, but he picks up the phone and does a lot of customer support stuff. He says, I'm a longtime listener and a new Prince subscriber from the UK. Jeff made the process so easy and showed me some of that great US customer service I've heard so much about. He also sent me a copy of that issue 300 so I could spend hours dissecting the list, which is correct, apart from The Witcher 3 being below Skyrim. Sorry, guys. All off his own back. I feel like you should mention how easy it is for people in the UK to get the magazine. Cool. Apparently, yeah.
Cool,
Go
yeah.
through
The
Jeff.
UK, the UK
downstairs.
is great. Like,
Thanks, Jeff.
I got lots of stuff from the UK.
What's that?
I said the UK is amazing. I love
Just
the
as a
UK.
concept?
Yeah, just as a concept.
We're
Isn't it
talking
great?
about how great Jeff is, not the UK right
All right,
now.
well, I like these.
Underappreciated continent.
I agree.
Good job, Jeff.
The 8th continent of the world. Secondly, this person wants us to know that you've hired a wonder child invader and should never let him go.
Wonder Child.
We have a wonder child invader.
Oh,
Look at that. You need
He
to
was
wa-
trying to get a job at Insomniac.
The
while we were
Wonder
over
Child.
Not literally, it's a joke. Right, Leo? It's a joke, right?
Sure.
Leo's
Oh,
like,
thank
sorry,
God.
bye,
Okay.
guys, bye.
Last time we had a wonder child invader, it didn't end up so well.
I don't even know where we're going with that.
Younglings. Star
Third.
Wars.
Never leave us, Leo, please.
Third, Jeff's wonderful customer service support. He really is into this.
This is good.
He got me thinking, what's the best experience you've had meeting a publisher or developer? Did anyone treat you particularly well? Did anyone impress you with how well they met your needs or answered your questions? Maybe they just had a kick-ass 25-foot tall dinosaur that let you ride? That's neat.
Everybody's so nice.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's nice.
that's an interesting question.
Final Fantasy 15 team was absurd on that cover story trip. We spent a week there at Square Enix, and they were like treating us like rock stars to the point that Joe and I were literally blushing about like, this is uncomfortable. Like they think that we're like a huge deal. Like, oh, it's cool. We'll put it on the cover. We're going to talk about it. It's going to be great. But they're like, oh my gosh, they're here. Game Informer's here, everybody. And like having the entire Final Fantasy team like stand up and cheer. It was weird, but very flattering.
And you expect that now.
That's right. I'm outraged when they just treat me like a mortal man.
Yeah, you know, we did get to talk to a lot of like nice developers and stuff on our way of work, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
We got the Final Fantasy 15 team. I always thought Tabata was a really nice interview. He's
Yeah,
very,
for sure.
very personable.
Another one that might be unexpected is High Moon was one of the nicest studios I've ever visited in my life. And there's a difference between like nice and like ass kissy to the press type of thing,
Right.
which is, you know, there's always a little bit of that dev default like, hey, you're writing a nice article. It's like, we'll see. But like High Moon, I feel like they went above and beyond, and they were just a bunch of very nice folks down there in Carlsbad, California.
Oh, Carl's bad.
This is one it occurred to me because it came up recently, and maybe this is something that everyone does that I just am not aware of. But Jennifer Hallett, who helped us with Spider-Man from Sony, did a great job. She gave everyone that we interviewed like written bios about all of us at Game Informer.
That's
so
right.
they we talked to Yuri Lowenthal, the actor who's playing Spider-Man, and he like knew all these details about like Leo and Reiner and I. And
Kyle,
I
do
just
you realize this is the stock trade for PR people?
Well,
This is
They
what
have
do.
a file on me that's like
This is
classic
how
design.
PR works.
I don't know. I guess I've never seen it surface before, and I that like the fact that they would like maybe I was just more impressed that Yuri had read them all and had studied them and like knew who we were and stuff like that.
As a fun weird fact of the game industry, it's like, all right, you want a heads up on who this PR person is or like who the press person is. Yeah, we're gonna have our little files.
Talk about his kid if you want to in.
Yeah. Wait, they were asking me a lot about.
They got the secret file.
Yeah,
sometimes you can get a look at them if you're really good. And then,
have you seen a look, Dan?
I've seen a look at my file from a certain company. Yeah.
Really? What did it say?
I'm not gonna relay that here.
Thank you.
All right.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, that's pretty insightful. Aaron Friend. Yes, friend. From Kansas City. He says, hello, GI crew. Over the past few years, my wake-up alarm has been Life is Beautiful from Deadly Premonition.
Wow, that's a good one.
Which one is that?
That's the whistling one.
Oh, okay.
The best one.
Before that, my song was More Than a Feeling by Boston.
That's a good one.
The best one.
I'm switching to that one.
Hey,
Some rock band.
get a load of this.
Okay.
I hope they don't watch or listen to this episode.
Let's
I
do
was
this.
on that Metro cover story trip
Okay.
with Bertz and JV Gwaltney. JV was talking about all the terrible music his dad used to listen to when they were growing up. He's like, he was just always listening to like Boston and Foreigner, and they're both like, yuck. Boston's awesome, right? Am I just cheesy?
Hey man, I'm with you.
Okay, and Foreigner's fun. Like they're
And we never
cheesy
agree on
as hell.
anything, but
That's
yeah.
true. Boston's first album is fun as hell.
Yeah.
Kyle, am I wrong?
No, you're good.
Jeff?
It's fun. It's
Okay,
fun.
thank you.
It's a weird band. It's a weird pair of bands to call it as being like,
Those are
crappy.
both,
Yeah.
those are both
rock.
awesome bands.
I agree.
All right.
My dad listened to that, I'd be delighted.
I'm even gonna go with the Foreigner. I'm okay with this.
Yeah, it's better
Let's
than
do it.
Donovan or whatever the crap my dad listened to. I love you, Father.
That,
what has
I
been,
get it now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I get it now.
What has been some of the songs you have used as an alarm to wake up in the morning?
All right, I wish I had song ringtones, but I don't.
What do
I
you
just
have?
The standard alarms is what I use.
Yeah, how does it go?
Bizarre, right? Like, the one I have right now is like it gets louder and louder. It's like a wave. It's a weird thing, and it shouldn't wake you up. It's more like white noise, but it does work.
That's cool. I like the vibration thing. It's like that'd be smart. I don't do it, but it's like, if it's vibrating was the alarm clock, you just like hide your phone in your pillow. It'd work out well. I had the Hyrule field theme from Ocarina of Time as my wake up for years and years. Like that.
Yeah, that's good.
Where to the point now where hearing that in the game really freaks me out.
Yeah, I just have generic alarm because music I just sleep through it, or it gets integrated in my dreams and I don't wake up.
Oh, really? It's more than a feeling. Yeah.
I get that Donkey Kong Country song.
Oh yeah, wake up! That's right. Wake up, Donkey Kong.
I had the Metal Gear Solid text tone was like my text message for a long time, and then I gave like just upgrading phones. Like my mom took my old phone, and then she had the Metal Gear Solid like noise.
She had no idea what
she
it
had no
was.
idea what it was, and I think she was in a video game shop at one point. Someone was like, "Oh, that's Metal Gear Solid, huh?"
And she
was just
maced him.
I have no idea what's happening. I don't know what's going on.
Moms.
Joe from Richfield, Minnesota. If you're a mom, you better not be listening. Joe from Richfield, Minnesota says, "Hey Ben, please consider trying to arrange for Dan Tack to interview his vocal doppelganger on
Twin.
the Overwatch commentating
All right, this is like
team.
the 10th time that I've heard something like this.
Are you sure you're not a commentator in Overwatch?
I'm pretty darn sure.
All right.
I mean, I do,
Alternatively, you could try to make a game out of it where you have them both record lines and the other one would say them and see if people could guess who's saying what. We should try and get that guy.
All right, let's find out who. First, I got to find out who it is. Then we'll go from there.
We had his name. Somebody wrote in with it. Anyways, second idea for a little gag. Joe is filled with really good ideas. At some point, when you clap somebody out of the show, you should cut the video to follow the person that left.
I love that idea. I really do.
It is a very funny idea. We can't ruin the illusion that there's magic happening there,
I'm a little
Joe.
bummed that you read it because now we can't claim that's our own idea. It's
Yeah,
so
you're
smart.
right. Okay, axe this. Third idea. This is bizarre, but
A row of ideas.
yeah, they're good. They're all good.
Yeah.
Somehow begin integrating some overarching plot or subtle recurring, slightly evolving things that fans can analyze in the podcast. I'm not sure exactly what I mean by this, but maybe something like you and Kyle over the course of a few months begin escalating a beef about him mentioning his daughter.
We have that stuff happen
I think we have to
organically.
pretend.
Yeah, we don't need to pretend. Like
Yeah.
people like to name their dinosaurs after other people.
Yeah, we don't put anything in Tupperware around here, Joe. Do you want to start some subtle storyline on the podcast, Gork?
Reminds me of my ex-wife on prom night.
Let's change veins.
Oh yeah. We'll get into it on a further episode. Stay tuned. Jack Gribble from Belfair, Washington says, "Hey Ben and the gang, I've recently been watching the Dark Souls Super Replay.
Yeah.
My question is, what game would be too unbearable to help someone play through without ever touching the controller?"
Portal.
Oh, like if you're trying to, get like
That's always
your
tough.
parents to play Portal or something.
Yeah.
It's like, just no, that over there. You're not listening.
Yeah.
It had to be a game like that, but there's got to be something worse than Portal, right? I didn't spend a lot of time thinking with this.
Like just a good puzzle game that you know all the solutions to is like tough to watch anybody else play.
Sliding puzzle.
Yeah.
Dan, you trying to coach me in Dark Souls 2, I promise would be...
No, it would be great.
No,
we
it
should
would
totally
not.
do that. I swear to God, it's not as hard as you think it is.
Genuinely, deep down in my heart of hearts, Dan, I feel like if we did that,
It would be so entertaining.
I would cry on air because I would be outed as just this terrible gamer.
That episode
There's
would
no
get 50,000
universe.
views.
There's no universe where I could ever beat a Dark Souls game.
Yeah,
Ever,
there is.
Ever,
and you're
ever,
living in it right now.
Ever.
Anyone can cook. All right.
No, not me. Absolutely not me.
Yes, you.
It would bring out
now.
every fear I've ever had in my
No,
life and
wow.
be unbearable.
And then
it would take 70 hours.
think about facing every fear you've ever had and destroying
Yes.
them.
Do it.
Yes.
I want to see this now.
Now, I've been meaning to ask you, is there a part in Dark Souls 2 where you have to recognize the face of your own sister? Is that a component in any way?
No, you could get away with not having to do that.
Well, then maybe
We
I
could
could
take
beat
you
it.
through the
Maybe-
whole process without having to recognize anybody you know.
All right. Hell. Well, maybe
Can we please do that?
maybe
Please.
it's not so bad. No.
Just one episode.
No.
Not even
Yeah,
one?
how about
Why?
one?
No, because then you tease
we
the
give it a
community.
try?
No. Because the community would be like, keep going. And it just
Dude, if the
disappoint them by
community
saying
wants us
no.
to give it a try for one, please let us know.
What if
Even
you
if
do-
it's just one.
Maybe extra life segment.
Oh.
If
Yeah.
BlizzCon is somehow not on November,
Oh, right. Well, prioritize, Dan. Let's go.
and I don't want to do it in that setting either because that's like this is going to be like people are going to be like blah, 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 in chat. I want to like
Seven Ghost Pepper, everybody.
it's got to be exactly
Yeah,
right. Like
sure.
it has to be a curated experience where you
Curated.
where you can learn
On brand.
and grow.
Dan
And-
has
all right.
lessons for you, you know?
I was
syllabus?
on the first 6 episodes of that Dark Souls replay, and it was a lot of vague lessons.
Yeah,
And
well,
Tim
this
was
one won't be
losing his
vague.
mind. And
Yeah,
Tim
we
has the
will-
most patience out of anybody.
Hang on. This won't be vague though. There will be no vagaries here. This will be straight and to the point, exactly what to do.
Dan Tech not being vague?
Correct.
I'd
Dan,
like to see
I don't think
that.
you've ever seen me play an action game.
I don't care. You can
You
do it.
have no idea what
You
you're
can
doing.
do it.
No, I cannot.
If you can beat me in Age of Mythology, you can beat
That's
this game.
completely different,
No,
and I'm just
no.
better at you than that.
Psychological, all right?
Better than you at that. Anyways, Charles Hudman writes in and says, "Hello, Ben and the rest of the Donkey Kong crew. Wake up. I tune in every week to watch the podcast for those so hilarious Dan Tech facial expressions. Give us a couple of those right now, Tech.
No, they're organic. I can't fake them.
I know, but fake one.
I can't.
Okay. My question is, what are your plans for the podcast and digital content in the future? I really love how active the Game Informer YouTube channel has been, but I'd love to see it expanded beyond New Gameplay Today, the GI podcast, and replays. Even more Twitch streams. Thank you, as always. Leo, what are your thoughts on this?
On what, video? Going forward?
Yeah, he says, give us more, you dingus.
I think we need more Dan Tech facial expressions.
Well, okay. You want some Dan Tech facial expressions?
Okay, we're going to count down from 5. You're
No.
going to give one, right?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you how to get them. You can play some Dark Souls 2 with me, and you'll get lots of them.
No, we'd have to have a camera on you. You're upping the man hours on the production side,
gosh.
even more than you could possibly imagine. Yes, we would love to do more video. It's only Leo and I, and we rotate through cover story trips, and it's very stressful. But we're trying to be smart, and we can promise more video content in 2018, right, Leo?
That's right, and there's no one I'd rather be doing it with than my dear friend and coworker Ben Hansen.
And there's no one I'd rather be at the side by than my best buddy, child wonder, Vader.
This has gotten real. Man, this whole episode is just off the charts.
I can help you guys a little bit.
Shut
Not
up,
a lot.
Kyle.
All right.
Anyways, what do you guys like? Email of the week.
Oh, we're done?
What was the one that we talked about a lot and we had a good
I
conversation?
like the is there any way Xbox can catch up?
Yeah.
Oh, that one was good. I do
That
like
was
that one.
okay. There was another really big one, though, right? I think
If
we're
you can't
missing it.
remember it
Oh!
in the count of 5.
I remember what it's the one where we switch the developers.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot.
Okay.
I like
I
those.
actually like that
those
one
weird
too.
hypotheticals.
I like that one too.
What if I brought up the just terrible fact that that's from Jose in the Philippines and we can't
No, we
ship
can't,
to the
we can't,
Philippines?
okay.
Jose, I'm sorry.
Well, he gets a shout out.
Love
I like
you,
your
Jose.
email, Jose. Good
Love
job.
you, Philippines. And we all know the capital of the Philippines are, Dan.
Manila.
Did you
There we
just
go.
say no way, Jose, under
I
your
did
breath?
not say no way,
That was
Jose.
very rude. He wrote a nice letter.
I know. I like Athena Slidom's email here about Xbox
Let's do it.
and just catching
Let's
up.
do it.
Can we live with this?
I'm comfortable.
Athena, congratulations. Email of the week. Hell of a name, too. We'll ship you out something real nice. I've been talking a little bit in the office. It might be time to change up email of the week for shipping something out real nice because we have so many international listeners and wonderful emails that
It's so impossible to like do international. Like,
it is. It's impossible. But I'm if you have ideas of what question of the week should get, write it into podcast again.
Something digital, perhaps.
I mean, we can give him game codes or something.
I think
Something.
this might be tricky. I have an idea that maybe we can float. We'll try to lock down. But I hear you, international listeners. We love you. Okay, that's it for emails. Podcast at GameInformer.com if you want us to answer something in the future. For now, do you guys want to Battle of the Death and Back of the Box
Oh,
Trivia?
my-
Yes.
I forgot there was another segment.
All right, another
Love it.
segment. Here we go. And welcome back to the Game Informer Show. We're now descending into the arena, as they call it, the Game Informer Show arena, the back of the box trivia. If you're new to the show, this is how it works. We have a vault that we call this thing at Game Informer. We have a copy of, in theory, every game ever made. It's a wonderful thing to cherish. And so I go in there with my phone, iPhone 6.8 or whatever.
That's
and
important
yep,
detail.
and I take pictures of the back of game boxes. I'm now going to read those back of the game boxes from my phone, omitting key giveaway details. And these people, Jeff Cork, Kyle Hilliard, Dan Tack, you guys buzz in when you think you know the game that is being described on the back of the box.
And how do we buzz in?
You buzz in by saying your name.
Saying your name.
Everybody gets one guess.
All right. And if you are the last person to buzz in, you can listen to the entirety of the back of the box copy.
That's
correct?
true. But as we have established years and years ago, you are legally required to put your hands behind your head and say the phrase, Dantak.
Oh, I know this.
I can get used to that.
I could get used to this.
I'm
not
pretty
that.
close.
Yeah, not that. What
close
is
enough.
this? Analyze that? Yeah, so I could get used to this. You have to say that if you want to get the
Yeah,
point.
you
I don't know
gotta-
why,
You gotta
but
put your hands behind your head.
yeah, if you're the last one in.
Super weird.
All right.
All right, Dan, you ready?
Yeah, why not?
First to 5 points wins. Here
All
we
right,
go.
Here we go.
Every treasure has its price. Thrown back into the dangerous underworld he tried to leave behind, Blank must decide what he's willing to sacrifice to save the ones he loves. Join blank, 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 and blank on an epic adventure around the globe through jungle aisles, bustling cities, and snow-capped peaks in search of a lost fortune.
Jeff?
Jeff?
Is it Uncharted 2?
Incorrect. Team up for fast-paced multiplayer.
Oh.
Experience the explosive action and adventure of blank.
Kyle, Uncharted 3?
Kyle Uncharted 3, incorrect. Dan.
I've already heard it all right, so
Yeah.
that's it. Dan, Uncharted 4.
Dan, I cannot give you that point. Your hands were not behind your head.
But I already
Sorry.
heard it all. It's only if you have to listen to the rest of it.
No,
Now
it's-
this is an interesting wrinkle.
That's the way it's always been.
my understanding is the third person who
The
goes.
last.
Yeah.
I believe that is the rule. Leo in the booth, is that the rule?
Before you buzz in, you have to say it.
You have to say I could get used to this.
But
before
it's-
this. So Dan, I cannot legally
God.
give you that point. I'm
Okay.
very sorry.
Yeah, I'm sure you are.
I'm
I
sorry.
don't remember snowy parts on Uncharted 4. Was there snow in Uncharted 4? I thought that was more of a 3
Dan,
thing.
was there snow in Uncharted 4?
I guess that was more of a
Sure.
2 thing.
Oh.
Oh.
There must have. Oh yeah, wait, yeah. It was like
Is it
snowy.
the collection?
No, it's
Oh wait, when
It's
you're with your
Ireland.
brother and you're sliding down.
yes, yeah. It's like it's not completely
all right.
snow covered, but it's like snow patchy.
That was my main reason for not going with 4 because I didn't remember a lot of snow for it.
right. Okay, here we go. It is the most rewarding game you'll ever play.
Okay.
You're the fastest gun in the West, and a bounty hunter voted most popular by the Dodge City Undertakers Union. I should have bleeped that. That was too specific. But look what's waiting to knock you off your high horse. Shotgun blast for shotgun blast. This game has a showdown. Here's the problem, you guys. There's a big sticker on this box that I'm
That's a
trying
clue.
to work around.
That's a clue, actually.
Yeah. Lead will fly nonstop from something. As a real ladies' man, you'll also be rewarded handily on the trail. Talk about riding into the sunset.
Kyle. Sunset Riders?
Sunset Riders. There we go. Kyle with 1 point.
I thought for a while I thought maybe it was the Super Scope game where you're fighting robot cowboys. I can't remember the name of it though.
Oh, I have no idea. Robot Cowboys, really?
Yeah.
Huh. Robot
You know what I'm
Cowboys are a real
talking
thing
about?
on the podcast lately.
It's not
Okay.
10 Star, is it?
Oh, Tin Star. If it had been Tin Star, you would have gotten it.
Yep.
Unleash the power of the brush in a blank quest to save a forgotten world. Challenge villains or befriend them to emerge a hero.
Kyle.
Kyle.
Kirby. All.
There's nothing wrong with your audio, folks. Kyle's just really stumbling.
Kirby. All Superstar Team. Damn
It's
it.
not Superstar Team. All right.
That's a Kirby game I want to play.
Discover
Someday.
a world
Ugh.
filled with characters lost in time. That's the entire box. Unleash the power of the brush. Oh, hang on, there's one more. Unleash the power of the brush in a blank quest to save a forgotten world. G4 TV says, the best Wii game.
Oh, fudge monkeys.
G4, that's bold. Challenge villains, befriend them,
Those-
merge a hero.
Those are good hints because you know.
Jeff.
Jeff?
It's not Okami, is it?
Incorrect. Not Okami.
It wouldn't have counted anyway because he didn't do the thing.
No, it
No,
wasn't
now
the
you
last
have to do it.
person.
You have to do that.
You
thing.
do it
Oh,
now.
right.
So go ahead, do it.
I don't know the answer. So
So you're not even going to take a random guess? Just take a
Just
guess.
make sure you do the thing.
yeah, I know. If I do guess,
The power of the brush. Challenge villains or befriend them. Discover a world filled with characters lost in time.
what I know about the
Five,
Wii, I could fit into a
four,
No, I don't know it.
Okay.
Can I
Yes.
Epic Mickey?
Epic Mickey. There we
Oh,
go. There we
God.
go. Okay, here we go. New game. Make your own games.
Mm.
Create graphics, music, and more. Go get more. Share games with friends or download more online. Play right now. Start playing immediately with 90 plus preloaded blank games.
Kyle.
Kyle,
Little Big Planet.
incorrect.
I'm too bold this
Oh
round.
gosh.
There's also a bubble here from someone saying something. I'm glad you're on board. Let's assign new AI to the balloon. Set art to float and loop. Locate at this point. Play right now. Start playing immediately with 90 plus preloaded blank games. Okay.
One at
5,
a time.
4, 3, 2, 1. Leo in the booth.
Is it WarioWare DIY?
WarioWare DIY,
Oh,
ladies and gentlemen.
90 levels? That's weird.
There were micro games.
Preloaded.
I was I kind of an inkling. I didn't know it was the DIY. Because when you said blank games, I was thinking, is it micro games?
It's tricky.
Yeah. That doesn't help me though. Here,
Oh, come on.
Hey, come on. We're playing this fair
Thank
and
you,
square.
Hanson.
I'd like to
The
apologize.
epic underwater adventure.
Mhm.
One of the year 2000's best, says IGN, in February of 2000. They put the date on there. You shouldn't have done that. February. Nothing topping this.
We're done. We're done.
As blank, you become the defender of the future as the fate of both blank and mankind hinges on your survival. Explore expansive underwater environments where you will need to rely on your special powers.
Kyle.
Kyle,
Aquaman?
incorrect.
What?
To rely on your special powers and keen blank instincts to fend off predators and overcome an array of deadly deep sea creatures. Advanced AI design to simulate real ocean animal behaviors, communication, and interaction. Countless videos and photographs were used to create a realistic depiction of the oceanic flora. Jeff?
It's not Aquanaut's Holiday, is it?
Incorrect. Breathtaking 3D graphics with vibrant lighting effects. Unique themed world adventures, each with intricate puzzles and mazes to solve.
Dan,
Dan?
I could get used to this. I could get used to this.
Perfect. There we go.
There we go, Dan!
That's all we asked. That's all we asked.
You did it, buddy.
Echo the Dolphin.
Hey,
Yeah.
Dan
Oh,
Tag!
nice.
Echo the Dolphin for the Dreamcast.
Wow.
Good
I've
job,
heard that was
dude.
one of the best of the year.
Yeah, in
Okay,
2000, people were like, this is going to be game of the year.
Yeah.
See, my mistake was Aquaman. That game sucks. No one would have said that about that game.
It's true. All right. Take New York
Mhm.
for a spin. From random crime to global threat, the entire city is relying on you to save it. Do anything blank, Ken. Kyle.
Spider-Man 2?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kyle.
All right.
You weren't supposed to be on this segment originally.
This is ridiculous.
We just did that replay of Spider-Man 2. It's like, dang it. Forgot about that one.
I was obsessed with the back of that box. I mean,
Is that true?
No.
Well, you were super into that game.
It's a good game.
All right, no doubt. Violence is in their blood.
Mm.
That's a weird thing to say.
That was that part of the
Welcome
box.
to Tokyo. Once the bustling capital of Japan, now the zombie capital of the world. Armed to the teeth and ready for revenge, you'll have to kick, shoot, smash, and bulldoze your way through hordes of the undead in the city that never sleeps. If you thought zombies were bad, meet the blank.
If you thought zombies were bad, meet the blank.
Yep. And that blank is the name
We got it.
of this game. Violence is in their blood.
I have an idea.
Kyle, are you buzzing in with the phrase, I have an idea?
I have an idea. I don't know what the game is called is my problem.
That's gonna be a problem.
That is perhaps the hardest question to answer.
5, 4.
Kyle.
Kyle.
Yakuza, the undead, living nightmare.
Incorrect. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So close, Kyle. Yakuza Dead Souls.
Oh,
The zombie Yakuza game,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen.
I knew what it was. I did not know the title.
Yeah.
Dead Souls.
I'm impressed. I'm the most impressed by you, Kyle, in my life.
Oh, that's all I want.
Step into an animated role-playing masterpiece. Follow the magical journey of a young boy named Oliver who enters a beautiful and dangerous parallel world in an attempt to save his mother.
Jeff.
Jeff.
Nino Kuni?
There we go. Jeff
nice.
Cork. Well done.
Thank you.
Cork's at 1. Kyle's at 2. Tack's at 1. Go get him, Tack. Rawr.
I should be at 2.
1. All right. If that's make or break, that's going to be a real point of contention. 1 cyborg ninja. Tons of zombies.
Oh, God, what is with the
Kyle.
Kyle.
Ninja Gaiden. Ninja Gaiden Yaiba Ninja Gaiden.
I will absolutely give it to you.
What is it? What is it?
It
What's
is
the order?
Yaiba Ninja Gaiden Z, technically.
Yaiba. Okay.
Yeah. Well done,
Thank
Kyle.
you.
Holy cow. Remember when those games came out? Those weird zombie spin-offs of those 2 Japanese series?
Yeah, that was a weird thing. Did
Yeah.
anyone play that?
Anyone?
Anyone?
Yaiba in there?
Anybody?
Any-
We have a full audience
Leo,
in this podcast.
did you?
Did anybody play
Anybody
that?
studio audience?
Not a lot of people played that one.
Raid the next box.
Who would imagine that then Mighty Number 9 would be the follow-up to that game?
We got a live studio audience.
They're losing it. With 13 days until the end of the world, complete Blank's saga to discover her true destiny. It all ends here. Doomsday results in a different journey for every player. Real-time battles empower your every move. Hundreds of game-changing weapons and outfit combinations. 13 days left until the end of the world. Complete Blank's saga to discover her true destiny. A lot of hints in there. A lot of hints.
Kyle?
Kyle.
Tomb Raider Underworld?
Incorrect. 13 days until the end of the world. Complete Blank's saga to discover destiny. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lightning Returns. Final Fantasy 13.
son of a
Ladies
gun.
and gentlemen.
Missed
That was the third.
Missed that
third
classic.
one.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. Hey, time to have fun here.
All right.
Here we go.
Good.
Slam the pedal to the metal and hang on for a wild race across the highways of America. Catch all the
Kyle.
roadside. Kyle.
The club.
Incorrect.
Oh.
Catch all the roadside scenery and famous landmarks from 3 different driving perspectives. From San Francisco's Golden Gate Bridge, South Dakota's Mount Rushmore, to the rolling hills of
Jeff?
Appalachia. Jeff.
Cruising USA.
There we go. Jeff Core, cruising USA.
What's the Ubisoft game? Is it called?
The Crew?
The Crew.
Yeah,
You're
Big
thinking of
Club
the
is-
Sega
Yeah, the
shooter.
shooter.
Yeah,
Bang,
yeah.
bang.
I was wrong anyway.
I don't know if you guys heard, but Blank's back.
Oh, finally.
The unstoppable Blank is back in Blank. Join Blank in her quest for the Dagger of Zion, reputed to possess the power of the dragon. But beware, Blank is not the only one in search of the dagger. Warrior monks and crazed cult members plot against you as you travel from the remote mountain peaks of Tibet, the canals of
Dan?
Venice. Dan,
Tomb Raider.
incorrect. The canals of Venice and even to the bottom of the
Kyle.
sea. Kyle.
Tomb Raider 2.
There we go, Kyle.
Canals of Venice.
I'm very sorry. Remember, it started with Blank's back. The unstoppable Blank is
Yeah.
back. You were close, Dan. You were close. I love you.
It's a tough game.
Tough game. Hey, tough game.
We can all agree here.
Yeah.
Tough game.
It's a very tough game.
Select one of 7 ferocious dinosaurs. Then Jeff.
Primal Rage.
Wow.
Nice.
I was 3 seconds from that. Like,
Really?
yeah, that's the easiest giveaway ever. Like, there's only what other game do you select your dinosaur in?
Not enough.
Jurassic The Lost World on PlayStation 1.
You didn't get to select though.
Yeah.
Cork's at 3. Kyle's at 4. Tack's at 1.
Yeah,
Let's go, Tack. Here we go.
we're going.
Okay, Blanks. Let's get even. When the evil Dark Queen kidnaps both your best buddy and the best looking girl this side of the Mazzillion star cluster, what are you going to do? Are you going to cry? Hide? Call the star cops? No way.
this?
Because you're a blank. And blanks don't cry, hide, or call for help. Blanks get real mad. And then they get even. big sticker saying Funko Land.
That's a good hint. That's a hint.
You're going to need all your fighting skills to defeat her. The blank butt, the big bad boot, and the nuclear knuckles. Hey,
Jeff. Battletoads.
there we go.
Nice.
Jeff Cork at 4.
Oh, yeah.
Well done, man. What are you going to do? Cry?
What is that? Super Nintendo? Or is that Genesis? Is that-
That's regular Nintendo?
Oh.
Regular NES.
Is it?
Is it? No.
Yeah. They just killed Cash. Now they want to kill him again. You awake to the sound of your own panicked breath. You must run, hide.
Kyle. The Suffering 2.
Incorrect. You must run, hide.
Jeff,
And...
The Suffering.
Incorrect. Run, hide, and fight to survive.
No!
If you can stay alive long enough, you may find out who did this to you. This is a brutal blood sport. Dantek's still in the game, but he has yet to say something. America is full of run-down, broken, Rust Belt towns where nobody cares and anything goes. In Carcer City, nothing matters anymore, and all that's left are cheap thrills. The ultimate rush is the power to grant life and take it away for sport. This time, James Earl Cash, you are the sport.
Oh.
They gave you your life back. Now they're going to hunt you down.
Dan,
Yeah,
I can get used to this.
your order's off, but sure.
Manhunt.
There we go.
Yes.
Dantek at 2. Back in the game.
I thought I was so
Oh, he's
Yeah,
swinging.
We thought we were smart.
He's coming in swinging.
Yep.
All right. Immerse yourself
Hmm.
in an unparalleled 3D flying experience. Blank propels you into a truly amazing virtual world of blanks, filled with unbelievable real-time effects, fantastic creatures, and nightmarish monsters. A masterful showcase of Sega Saturn's raging processing
Jeff.
power. Jeff.
It's a Panzer Dragoon.
Incorrect. Face your worst nightmares in a stunning world of 3D gameplay, dozens of camera angles, never seen before effects, and 3D positional sound. Developed exclusively for Sega Saturn by the creators of Sonic the Hedgehog.
Kyle?
Kyle.
Panzer Dragoon's Vi?
Incorrect.
Really? Are you sure?
I'm pretty positive.
Did you look at the front of the box?
Yeah, of Panzer Dragoon? Yeah. Dan, 5,
I don't know it.
4. Nothing?
Nothing.
Nights into Dreams, ladies
Oh,
and gentlemen.
God, that's
Nights-
Sonic's hint.
Yeah.
I feel very stupid now.
Yeah. All right.
Mhm.
Blank leaps into a new dimension. Blank returns to his roots in an all-new adventure in 3D.
Jeff.
Jeff.
Frogger 3D.
Incorrect. What a bold choice.
Good guess.
Yeah.
Blank and more. That's 3D graphics and gameplay. Leap and stomp with precision with the new 3D view. Extra challenge. Beat dozens of mystery boxes and trade them via Street Pass. Classic blank action with a modern twist.
Kyle?
Kyle.
Super Mario 3D Land?
There we go. Kyle Hilliard takes it!
Hey!
Super Mario 3D Land!
This the Street Pass, man. That was the ultimate
glad
clue.
that got you.
Hey!
You like a little twist of the 3D going into the 3D? You guys are all confused, right? Dan,
Oh,
you
yeah.
put up a hell of a fight. There's no doubt about it.
Go
It's
ahead and
so
give him
hard.
3 points.
None of my games have boxes.
Well, Dan, what do you think about this? All right, this is only for Dan.
No.
Right?
What are you talking about? Holy for Dan.
This is the bonus round. You win this one, Dan.
I
and
lost
you
by
win in
multiple
your heart.
points.
No,
Okay.
you got
Cork
this.
and I can't guess.
As long as I win in my heart, it's okay.
All right, here we go.
Mhm.
The ultimate blank experience. Blank is the standalone expansion to the to the 2012 strategy game of the year. It includes the base game experience with an all-new extended content, as well as the Elite Soldier Pack, Slingshot, and Second Wave add-on content.
Dan's the only one that can guess.
Yes. Standalone expansion to the 2012 strategy game of the year. New soldiers, weapons, and abilities. Research new alien technology to develop new weapons.
Yep.
As well as genetic and cybernetic enhancements for your operatives.
So XCOM Enemy Unknown.
Incorrect. XCOM Enemy Within.
Oh.
Oh, Tech, I'm sorry.
How
That's all
could
right.
you confuse Enemy Unknown and Enemy Within?
Yeah.
Why would
It's
you
tough.
confuse this?
Speaking of which, JV just reviewed Batman, The Enemy Within, which is Telltale's second season of their Batman stuff, and it turns out he really liked it by the end. We should give a plug. You can check out his review. He gave that final episode a 9.
Really?
Yeah, I feel like no one's talked about that series for a long time, but he says it ends super strong, which is wild.
And then we're doing like he has a review for the full season as well. I think he gave like an 8.5 altogether, which is good.
There we go.
Makes me wanna
Solid.
play it.
Dan Tack,
Yes, sir.
thank you so much for playing Back of the Box Trivia.
Man, it
I
was
love
fun.
you so. And that's it for this episode of the Game Informer Show podcast. Be sure to tune in next Thursday, and we'll have a new episode waiting for you. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
Are they a special kind of rock that stays cold?
Yeah, you can.
Longer?
They're called whiskey stones. You can look them up.
Yeah, I've heard of them. I just didn't know if they had to be a specific rock or just anything that looks pretty in your whiskey.
They use a certain kind of stone. Yeah.
Probably wetstone.
You know, I don't actually know what kind it is, but you could probably Google it in 3 seconds.
No, but he made a joke, Dan.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, Dan.
End me. That's my Dan Tack impression.
It's not bad.
End me.
Hanson, why don't you do a Dan Tack facial expression?
Okay, ready? If I had to do one, I think it'd go a little something like this.
I think it's a little unnecessarily dour.
Like Mr. Bean.
Leo, do you want to come out here and do a Dan Tack face? And all right, and I'm playing. Who's your favorite director, Cork?
Martin Scorsese.
I'm playing Martin Scorsese, and we're looking for Dan Tack face while you're sitting next to Dan
We can
Tack.
give you prompts if you like.
Yeah.
The SEO is off the chain.
SEO is off the chain,
Yep.
and that's Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and now, okay, I'm role playing Leo now, and Yep, man, makes me happy. And you're Dan Tack laughing.
I will kill you for that opinion. I will personally tear your head off. But I'm so happy. You make me sick. You bring shame upon this company.
All right, now Dan Tack, you're Jeff Cork.
I'm Jeff Cork?
Yeah.
I don't have any. I can't do
Whistle
puns.
just
All right.
whistle a Mario theme and talk about death and action.
There we go. Oh, look at there he is.
Oh, looks like our
There he
game is
is.
over.
Oh,
Sorry, Kyle. Sorry, Kyle.
Sorry, Kyle.